Live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. We've got Blair to Blair on. We've got Mark Bernal. I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. I hope everything is going good for you. We've got quite a little lovely show for you guys this evening. We've been constantly working backstage hard, slaving over that kitchen stove, making sure that you guys are, taken care of the right way. So I just want everyone to know that tonight, if we do get to a point where there is going to be anyone coming in, anyone coming into the chat, we will put the StreamYard in there. But for the first part of the chat, for when we're going through all the different subjects, we are going to be doing it just for people that are coming in, the ones that we've sent the link to. Eric, if you're watching, let me see if there's anyone on. Let's see here. We have one person watching. All right, we got a true believer.
That's me.
So, all right, so let's do. All right, here we go. First one. All right, let's go ahead and pop that up on that split screen. Let's do this. Mark, you want to introduce yourself? Go ahead and promote your channel. Mark, promote your comic book real quick. That way they can replay it and they can tell what it is, and I'll get this all set up, okay?
Yeah, Mark Bernal. I'm the accidental founder of a comic book company called Lesser Known Comics. And we started during 2020 and we had a bunch of comics. We've been doing it for about 2 years, and we currently have Kickstarter going. Either Them or Us, it's the name of the book that we currently have out on Kickstarter. It's Samurais versus Witches in 1980s Japan. If you're a fan of magic, martial arts, giant grappling hooks getting shot out of helicopters and stuff like that, that's definitely going to be a good read for you. And then we got a bunch of other stuff. We kind of serve as an incubator for new creators. They come and they make their first comics with us and, either stick around and, get drunk 9 innings in the minors with, people like me, or they go out and play in the majors with bigger publishers. But it's a blast. And most of our stuff can be found either at Instagram at Lesser Known Comics or at our website, lesserknowncomics.com.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Blair, I'm going to put you on the screen. Let everybody know a little bit about yourself. There you go. Let me take you off there. Apparently, we have to do this in a specific order. See that? Because for whatever reason, it says, remove from stream, exit sellout. So if I accidentally click remove from stream, you're going to get kicked off again. I think that's what happened earlier. All right, Blair, let them know who you are, brother.
Hey, I'm Blair to Blair. I've been around YouTube for a while. I have a channel, but I don't make any videos. I've been getting more into live streaming lately. So Vince had me on last week. We had a great time. So we're back together this Friday. Chat about the things that happened during the week.
6.5 hours, man. I think that's what we did
a little chat.
Time.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
know.
that was crazy.
I got a little scared.
Well, okay. We're gonna try. We agreed. We're gonna try to keep it below 3 hours. Okay.
This tea, I switched to beer, so they all.
Hey, all right. I'm drinking non-sugar. No. I've had a little bit of caffeine, but mostly water. So I don't drink. So for me, it's just it is what it is. But
I can drink for both.
There you go. What about you, Blair? Do you have like a favorite whiskey or a favorite barley or?
I like Death Doors vodka.
Death Doors. I've never heard of it.
It's made in Wisconsin, so it's locally made for me. It's a good vodka. I like a lot of coffee drinks, coffee liqueur, coffee vodka, that type of stuff. I'm not much of a whiskey or bourbon person, but I do like it. I'm not a beer person at all, but I like the vodkas and the stuff like that.
Okay. So, can you see this, guys? I can't see our screen. Can you see what I'm doing right here? Can you see me scrolling up and down?
No, I see Infinity. I see the live stream window.
Yeah, I think it's the box in the box. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's not. I'm not understanding this. So when I click on that link, Blair, it takes me to the actual. Okay, let's try this. So does that mean I have to go to each? Oh, dude, that means I do have to do that. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're gonna stop this. Now watch. I think I just figured it out. Look at me learning. Wow. So maybe okay. So when they say a producer, this is what they're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Okay,
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so here is, guys. This is our now. I don't think I can say this word, so let's just highlight it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can't say that word on YouTube without them like flagging it. So we're just gonna say, let's declare a amnesty. Let's focus on the future and fix the problems we still need to solve by Emily Oster. Notice they made sure that it was Emily Oster.
I don't know who Emily.
She's this advocate. She was one of the people at the very beginning, basically, that was kind of very slowly but surely saying, yeah, guys, let's just give up all of our freedoms. The government knows what's best for us. That's right. All right. So in April 2020, with nothing else to do, my family took an enormous number of hikes. We all wore cloth masks that I had made myself. We had a family hand signal, which the person in front would use if someone... Notice how they're kind of describing the introduction to like a post-apocalyptic movie. Anyone else catch that? Anyone? Is that just me? Nah, right? It's just in my head. You know, in the front would use someone was approaching on the rail and we needed to put on our masks. Good symbol, guys. Once when another child got too close to my 4-year-old son on the bridge and yelled at her, social distancing. Now, okay, question. So they were using hand signals, right? Hand signals, you know, to signal each other. They were only 6 feet apart. Were they unable to hear each other from 6 feet?
I guess they didn't want to say it out loud.
Yeah.
But
mask out.
Particles to yourselves. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, but the masks were supposed to protect them, wasn't it?
Well, they apparently had them off when they walked. Apparently, they weren't total.
She said they were wearing them. I mean, so maybe in Minecraft, maybe.
Well, she says here we need to put our mask on if somebody approaching the trail.
Okay, I see. Okay. All right.
So they weren't completely crazy, but there were those people who were wearing their mask outside
and screaming this social distancing. So
yes,
these precautions were totally misguided. In April 2020, no one got the virus from passing someone else hiking. Outdoor transmission was vanishingly rare. Mm-hmm. Our cloth mask made out of old bandanas wouldn't have done anything. Huh? Wasn't that something people were saying in the very beginning? Maybe that was Minecraft too. Anyway, but the thing is, we didn't know. Guys, they had no clue. They didn't know. They didn't know that previously any virus whatsoever ever in the history of mankind that had already been disproven or proven or learned by to be distributed by or however the hell it was, airborne, born, transferable, whatever, didn't work that way. They just didn't know, guys. I've been reflecting on this lack of knowledge thanks to a class I'm co-teaching at Brown University in ID. There's the word, guys. If you can't hear me, guys, I know there's something wrong with my voice. Every time I get to this word, this is the word. We've spent several lectures reliving the first years of pandemic. Why is it it's always the kind of, I don't want to call them weirdos. Weirdos is the wrong word. Maybe people that overreact. Why is it when they overreact, they either have to go to counseling for something they caused to themselves, or they have to go to like a formal class to learn why they caused it themselves? You guys ever notice that too? Is that like something reoccurring? I mean, you know. And
think for themselves, maybe?
Yeah, maybe in Minecraft. Discussing the many important choices we had to make under conditions of tremendous uncertainty. Some of these choices turn out better than others. To take an example, close to my own work, there is an emerging, if not universal, consensus that schools in the U.S. were closed for too long. Nah, it was only 2 years. What are you talking about?
If they said that back then, they would have canceled themselves.
They would have canceled themselves. They would have had people throwing bricks through their windows and Molotoving their cars.
Calling the cops and everybody.
Yeah, dude. What was the video of was it Australia? Where the cop took the like 70-year-old woman and threw her on the ground and handcuffed her because she wasn't wearing a mask. You know, I mean, come on. All right, look, we can we could go around in circles on that. All right, so let me finish here. But in the spring and summer of 2020, we only had glimmers of information. Okay, now this is something I want to highlight right here. Okay, if you guys were to think, let's look at that where I got highlighted right there. If you guys were to think just off the top of your head, okay, just off the top of your head, how many different sources do you think people had available to them for that one line right there to have a glimmer of information? How many different sources do you think the average, and we're just talking about America, that not the rest of the world, this is just America, okay? How many different sources do you think the average person in America in 2020, spring and summer, were available for these people to see? But what I mean, just give me a guess. Blair, what do you think?
Before or after they got banned off social media, and because
I mean,
in the beginning there were a lot of people saying all this stuff. You know, these masks were not stopping viruses. You need at least an N95 mask to do anything. You could be outside, and transmission outdoors was extremely rare. Schools were closed way too long. You know, all of this stuff. But as soon as people started talking about that, and it wasn't following whatever narrative at the time, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook started dropping people, started slapping the information sticker on everybody. Well, even the CDC and World Health Organization came out with some stuff, but then they changed their mind. Then they, you know, and they flip-flop so much so that there's even a part where people are saying exactly what the CDC or World Health Organization were saying now, but social media were still running off the old script. So you would get banned or censored or whatever based on what they were told to enforce at that point. So, but this whole thing about nobody knew is total BS. There are a lot. It was just if you questioned it, that's where the problem.
But you name like 5 sources, right? Is that about accurate? About 5 sources? Okay, and that's just
social media. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think, Mark? What I mean, the average person. How many sources? Let's not even say. I mean, look. Let's take the government out of it. So we're not even talking about people connected to like her, the reporter, not the secretaries, not the judges, just a regular average human being. How many sources do you think a person had?
I think that most people. No, I think. We're going to, I think, the uneducation of the country, because if most people ask on the street, you know, where they get their information from, unfortunately, they're going to give you a cable news outlet, or they're going to give you a social media platform, right? So they're going to they're going to say one of 5 things going to come out their mouth: CNN, NBC, Fox News, Facebook, or Twitter. The lion's share of them. Now, there are folks, right, who understand the difference between, you know, a news commentary and news. They know a difference between a wire service and a source. You know, if Reuters reports on what CDC says, they understand the nuance between the difference of that. So when it goes from what CDC says to what Reuters sends through the wire to what Fox News picks up to what the actual newscasters on a Fox News would say versus what a commentary person like, you know, Tucker Carlson, that's a huge diaspora of or a huge spectrum rather of forms of news. But most people only understand, okay, I get the face that shows up in one of these screens, either my TV or my phone, and it's either Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, Twitter, or Facebook, you know. So to say what sources are available versus what source the general public is confident and competent enough to digest, you know, I don't want to give them out because people should be more educated. But unfortunately, we gotta. This is humanity. We gotta move as slow as our slowest people, and unfortunately, they get pretty fucking slow down there.
Okay, now
I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did because I got two different answers, which is what I was looking for. I got 2 different things. Oh, Derek can't hear us right now. He's watching, but he can't hear us. He's driving. But okay, how many news stations are there? Off the top of your head, just news station, not social media. News stations.
ABC,
MSNBC,
10
ABC,
you can think
Fox,
of?
Newsmax. We have
BBC, NPR.
BBC. I mean, we had the what's telenovela one that was huge. We had the Italian station that was on. We had the Spain station that was on. We had, all these different stations, right? And it was on the TV. It was plastered on the TV. It was like a ticker, like a sports freaking parade. Okay, and we had several people from several different sources, radio, newspaper articles written, saying the same exact shit, one on one side, one on the other side. Okay, so for her to say something like this specifically, but in spring and summer of 2020, we only had glimmers of information. That's not true. By the summer, because remember, the first case was found in the Air Force female officer. She came from, I believe it was China. I could be wrong in that, okay, in Minecraft, all right, but I believe that's correct. She was an Air Force officer. She was the first case, and then it just blew up after that. They tried to keep it quiet for a couple of weeks, okay, but then it just blew up after that. And that started in, I want to say it was either late January or early February. Then March, I've got a newspaper of it. I think I have it right there. I've got a newspaper clipping right there when President Trump declared a state of emergency. It was about 6 weeks after her discovery. Okay. So by midsummer, we're not talking about the first couple of weeks. We're talking about everybody's scared shitless. They're rubbing everything down with alcohol, spraying everything with Lysol, wearing rubber gloves, social distancing, the whole thing. Okay. So the only point I'm trying to make here is that this is the kind of talk that you see whenever someone's trying to give you that gaslighting aspect. She's trying to say, oh, well, we're sorry because we just didn't have enough information. That's a crock of shit, man. It is. Okay. There were so many scientists. I'm talking about straight up people that did nothing but study viruses their entire lives saying, this is not how we're supposed to be doing this. And they didn't care. Okay. Right. All right. So reasonable people who cared about the children and teach. I don't know why this is here. I guess I don't know why the teachers thing is there, but the teachers doesn't matter. Okay. I get why she put the children thing, but maybe she's trying to talk about advocating for the schools being closed, but but reopening debut, whatever. Another example, when can I say that word? I don't know if I could say that word. When the Maxine Waters came out,
the jab.
Yeah, the jab. I can say jab, right? When the jab came out, we lacked definitive data on the relative efficacies of the Johnson & Johnson shot versus the mRNA options. See, this is another thing that's total shit. Okay, until the what did you call it earlier? What would you say we could call it when we couldn't say the name? No.
Oh, the virus of undetermined origin.
When the virus of undetermined origin came out, okay, a lot of the issues the scientists had with the way that we were handling it is we had never handled a virus like this of undetermined origin this way ever. It had never been done like this. You have to go through trials after trials after trials to make sure that something like the jab is healthy for you, or something like the jab is not going to have side effects. And look at what's happening right now. Supposedly in Minecraft, there are major side effects under a significant portion of the population because of the jab. So all these people were just lining up. I mean, dude, it happened here. I'm in Texas, and it was happening here in Texas. They were lining up, dude. They were outside of Walgreens, like backed up in the street, doing loop-de-loops around the building, just waiting to get swabbed and getting jabs, man.
So I guess what I don't understand is, normal American. Okay, so I'm like, okay, they're telling me this shit's happening, so I have options. What are the options of what I can do in the spectrum of shit I can do? besides social distancing, wear a mask and whatever.
Right.
And so with those limited options, what should I have done differently with any additional information, whether or not masks work or don't work, right? It's like the seatbelt on the airplane. Like, I actually was on an airplane that came in for emergency landing. They woke me up. I was sleeping. They said, "We're coming in for emergency landing. You need to put on your seatbelt." I'm like, "Why the fuck did you wake me up? I don't think it's going to do any good." But I get it, right? Like, you did your job. I got to put my fucking seatbelt on, and now I got to be awake for this nightmare. But I guess I don't understand what I guess we can go down that personal freedom stuff, but then again,
yeah, you're talking about how much better of an American you could have been, right? Like you did everything you were supposed to, and I imagine a majority of us did, right? I don't ever remember seeing someone just running around with a sign that said, fuck the virus of unknown origin and fuck the government. I never saw someone doing that. All right. I mean, dude, from what I remember, now granted, it's been a while, and it feels like everything kind of runs together after a while. But I mean, people were pretty much on board with it. I mean, we were scared, we were worried, we were told this was the worst thing. What were you saying, Blair?
It was supposed to be a 2-week to stop the slow the spread,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks to slow the spread, and that turned to 4 weeks. They were like, okay, let's give it another 2 weeks, and this is when we still had Donald Trump. Okay. Donald Trump was president for about 8 months of the virus, right? 8 or 9 months. So he's responsible for the beginning, but the 2 years afterwards, that's all on Biden. I love how everything that's good was Biden and everything bad was Trump. I know that's how every single presidency is. But I mean, this was supposed to be the worst thing that ever happened to us since the Spanish flu. And then the numbers came out, the supposed numbers, and it was a 83% supposed infection rate, or it had a 4% kill ratio of the infection rate, supposedly. Okay, guys, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I don't know these numbers for a fact. I'm subjugating here. Okay, so but they were scaring us. They were literally scaring people very badly. I mean, dude, husbands were being told by wives to not go to work. Stay home. You're going to get sick and you're going to die. I talked to several people that did that. So, I mean, this was supposed to be a very serious thing. I mean, can we all agree on that? Is that at least accurate, that part?
Yeah. In the beginning, everybody was on board with, doing whatever, because people were dying, people were getting sick, and
they were saying it, right? They were saying it.
A fire in the theater, right? You get the fuck out. You don't go, well, we go investigate. Yeah. Really a fire.
Exactly. You don't run into the 10-foot wall of fire. You try to go get protection. So now this part right here, where she says, obviously some people intended to mislead and made wildly responsible claims or irresponsible claims. Who is she talking about? See, a lot of this article, we're almost done with it, guys. I don't want to go through every single part of it, but a lot of this article is doing this like, hey, look at this point, right? Now I'm going to draw a circle around this point, and you just infer what I'm trying to say. That's basically what she's doing. Okay? And when you go to the bottom of the article, okay, remember this name, Emily Oster. We're going to remember her forever, okay? Don't forget this name. Okay? When we go to the bottom of the article, it says, Reed, you were right about and then you weren't. Okay? Right, and she goes through this long, big thing, and some things to highlight are moving on is crucial now because the pandemic created many problems that we still need to solve. Student test scores is one of the things she highlights because we all know people's IQs dropped. Well, okay, we didn't prove that people's IQs dropped, but they speculated that because of the masks specifically, they believe the IQs on average could have dropped as high as 10 points. That has been speculated. So I think that's what she's referring to here. Okay. So, but we also, being stuck at home, everybody got addicted to social media even more than what they already were, which is something that we're seeing regretfully side effects of them right now. Many people have neglected their health care over the past several years, notably routine, can I even say that word, jabs rates for children for measles, pertussis. How do you say that? Pertussis? Is that right? This word right here? Pertussis? Okay.
Yep.
So, etc. Which is true because, I mean, I didn't go see a doctor for those 2.5 years. I don't know about you guys, but I totally forgot about jabs, just as a whole. So, pediatricians and public health officials will need to work. The standard saying is that those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. But dwelling on the mistakes of history can lead to a repetitive doom loop as well. Do you think she just kind of made that up? This part, the doom loop shit.
Kind of does.
I mean, it feels like she was looking for something and she couldn't find anything to put there. That's what that feels like. Okay. Let's acknowledge that we made complicated choices in the face of a deep uncertainty and try to work together to build back and move forward. She just had to put that in there, didn't she? I mean, she just had to put that in there. Wow. I missed that before when I read the article. Okay. So here we go. Oh, wait, shit. Emily Oster is an economist at Brown University. Brown University. Dude, is it ever going to stop? I mean,
you have to look in because I don't know exactly the
reference.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, just what the I guess the and we can razz each other, so I'll just say I don't know the conspiracy theory we're circling around. So I haven't read.
It's not even a conspiracy theory. Okay, let me get this shit off the screen.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's
yeah. Go no, Blair. You go first. I'm talking. You go first.
Like, who gives a fuck what the Atlantic says? First off, like
right.
I'm surrounded by liberal friends, and and I've never heard one say, "Hey, you read that great article in the Atlantic?" There's a weird. It's like the kids that were class president, right? They put out their signs and they write things down, but it doesn't really affect shit, and that's, most of what you read in New York Times op-eds, what you read in, the Atlantic or the New Yorker or whatever.
Yeah.
I think most people, tend to rally around more commonly, like even what their stand-up comedians are going to say, people listen to what Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle has to say.
I know.
Oh,
I
yes.
know. Yeah.
But I think it's because there's not that hyper elitism in what the fuck they're talking about, because at the end of the day, like even even Joe Rogan, with his he's not wearing a bow tie like fucking Tucker Carlson, right? He looks like somebody beer with and not fucking punch in the mouth,
Right.
That's so I do think that self-appointed academia of the outside world of places like the New York Times and Atlantic and stuff like that, they're increasingly irrelevant, what they say.
Mm-hmm.
All they do is create an ad hominem for one side to demonize the other, right?
I haven't heard that word in a while. Man, damn, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah.
Some random blowhard from either Fox News or from the Atlantic or New York Times, and let's say that is the person that represents my opposite side, because that person's a blowhard and they're easy to fucking tear down. They're real. So that's the thing I just caution with, I guess, when it comes to quoting these people, because I don't know Emily, whatever her name is, but it's probably somebody that, even though I might agree with some of the things she says, I wouldn't want to have a fucking beer with that person. She sounds like the worst human I would want.
I mean, yeah. How much? That's what I want to ask you. Let me answer your question first, and then I'm going to ask you a question that I've been waiting to ask you this question the entire time too. So I've been like, so let me answer your question. Brown University. Let's not call it the wokest university, but if there's a top 3. Brown's in the top 3, okay? And they are one of the main places for some of the biggest issues that are going on right now in the woke, PC, fourth wave feminist, and I can't say that word either. The people that are against fascism group, Black Lives Matter, stuff like that. They are one of the main places that stuff both encourages and was born. Okay. And throughout the last 6 years, ever since Big Daddy Double D got elected, they've been going crazy. I mean, just making up the most ridiculous stories with absolutely no factual evidence to back it up with. Brown University is responsible for some of that. They're not the main. We could say Yale, okay. We could say Berkeley, okay. We could go through a lot of different names, but Brown is one of them. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong in this, but one of the speakers, it was either Marsh or Shapiro or Jordan Peterson, did a speech there, and there was a riot. Okay, it was one of those universities. I could be wrong in that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I know there was a riot at Yale, and I know there was a riot at Berkeley, but I'm pretty sure there was a riot at Brown University too. So that's why I think it's so ironic that they had a professor, an economist, okay, that comes out and puts this out and uses words like doom loop. Dude, just say that word out. Just say those two words out loud.
Sounds pretty cool. Doom loop.
I mean, sounds like something you would see in like a comic book story, right? You know?
90% of people. Yeah, something that's on what is American Ninja Warrior.
American Ninja Warrior, yeah. The doom loop. The doom loop. I mean, come on, dude. So, all right. Now, I want to ask you something. You are, a little bit more liberal than say I am, and probably Blair is.
Figured how to classify me like that.
All right. You're definitely not as straight as I am on certain aspects. So, and I respect your opinion. So I want to know how that article made you feel. Like, what did you? Because I know how open-minded you are. When you're reading that article, because the way I felt was, and Blair, I want you to chime on this too. I felt like I had a teacher talking down to me as if I'm a stupid fucking moron. That's what I felt like. Like I'm in kindergarten and the teacher's like, no, Vincent, you can't eat your own poop. Bad, Vincent. That's what I felt like. How did that address you? And what did you think while I was reading it to you? What came across your brain?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that even folks like Bill Maher talk about, on his show, right? Because he used to have Politically Incorrect was used to be the name of his show, and then he somehow became a voice of the left, and then he is so exhausted with wokeism and things like that. I don't think that necessarily some of the stuff that what comes out of my friends' mouths is what pisses me off, but the idea that I see around these, we're all having drinks or something like that, and they're just talking about how they're going to solve all the world's problems through, empathy and understanding, I think a lot of it is academic, and a lot of it doesn't touch the real world that we live in,
Mm-hmm.
and it's. And I think ultimately it also goes back to this, the problem is that if you're not going to get people, you're not going to bring, the best way you're going to get this country together is actually hanging out and talking with people that don't think and don't believe the things that you do, and it can't be just, once in a while here and there. You have to live in the same community with them. You have to, go to the same faith organizations as them, or go to the same, community gatherings and stuff like that. And unfortunately, we're so separated as a country. Like, even when you look to how our neighborhoods look, you have red neighborhoods and blue neighborhoods. You have neighborhoods that are just so
true.
And people don't understand how the election went this way. Everybody I know voted the same way I did. And so how did it go the other way? And it's just like, well, because you're not and I don't think that, and I think the right's guilty of it too. They don't know how to talk to a liberal without being a dickhead. And I don't think liberals know how to talk to a conservative without sounding like a pompous asshole.
Yeah, but one thing I do notice though, and I've seen a couple of videos on this, is that the left does a lot of screaming, especially whenever they feel like the other person doesn't agree with them. The right just shuts down or walks away.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen that, and I've watched the videos where they'll take like a person from the crowd of people screaming about women's rights and whatnot over to the side of the right. Everybody's like, hey, welcome, come in, come check us out. Not a big deal. Okay, yeah, we'll just hear what we have to say. Here's a barbecue sandwich, whatever. And then they go over there and they have the same person that was over on the right walk with the person, or over with the left, walk with the person from the right and try to do the same thing. And they're spitting on them and trying to kick them, throwing bags of feces at them. I mean, dude, there's a guy with the fascist anti-group that walks around. I've said this before. He walks around with a lock and a sock. A lock and a sock. And he waits for you to be in a compromising position, and then he smashes your head in with the lock. That's on the left. That's not on the right. So, I mean, I'm with you, Mark, man. I agree with you. I don't think either side knows how to talk to the other. But when you got one side who's literally trying to kill the other, and then the other side who doesn't even want to possibly think about talking to the other side, how the hell are we ever going to come in the middle? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think that? I mean, I think that obviously. Any asshole can align themselves with a organization, right? And they can say, I'm part of it. I'm part of, whether it's, a conservative movement or a liberal movement or whatever, right? And go be an asshole and do things like hit people with because I think what's disturbing from like a liberal point of view is seeing the nooses and all that stuff outside of the Capitol on January 6th and stuff like that, because I think it hits home for me because I have living in the National Capital Region, having friends that are federal law enforcement and stuff like that, and saw what happened at the Capitol. That was disturbing, right? Because it could easily have been, one of the folks that I'm friends with that is, federal law enforcement.
Okay, but check this out. That guy with the sock and the lock, the left protected him whenever the cops were coming by, when people were trying to out him, and they know that he was breaking the law, Mark. They know he was. I
can't speak to an anecdotal, incident.
Point. Yeah, you're right. I'm more thinking about
I saw
the way it affected it. Yeah. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Yeah.
People surrounding a Capitol, crowded around like an actual gallows being erected, and to me that was that a lot of it was symbolism, right? Because I know the difference as being melted of implied danger and real danger, but
Very true. Very true.
Would be intellectually dishonest to say, obviously, those Capitol police officers were in danger. I know it's all fucked up, the circumstances of how some of them died and whatnot, but certainly there was physical danger there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, right. But I only said to the fact that there is an element of each ideology that the other one fears, and just the same as we can take what somebody puts from an op-ed piece or a YouTube rant or whatever and say this is what the other side represents. So the guy with the sock in the lock, or lock in the sock,
in the sock, baby,
is what and the person who is yelling, bring them out and hang them, outside of the Capitol is what the right represents, and obviously that's
wrong too. Yeah, no, I got you. But why? But we're not seeing that anymore. The right doesn't do that anymore. You know, the right doesn't have that thing. Mark,
Hey,
before we move on, Blair, I want to answer this question for Steve.
Yeah.
But before we answer that, man, say your piece, brother. Thank you, Mark. By the way, I really do appreciate that, man. That was awesome.
it's like for this article, I hear it as kind of like, "Hey, everybody, mistakes were made on both sides. You know, we need to move on," because I think they know what's coming. Which may kind of speak to what Stephen mentioned too. There's going to be people coming after people like this.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Who are gonna be
there's a reckoning coming,
and that's what they're afraid of.
That's what they're afraid of. So they want to
You know,
claim victimhood status first. That's exactly what they
Yeah.
want to do. Being
They
a
wanna
victim
claim-
is virtuous, man.
They want to claim innocence by ignorance. Hey, we didn't know, you know, even though a lot of people did know, or at least were questioning it, and they got shut down because people lost their jobs. They were incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't get health care that they needed because it was deemed elective, and they ended up dying because of it.
Sure. Remember the ventilator shit? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's forgetting that shit, man. The ventilator crap and how everyone had to be on a ventilator. Then they found out that the ventilator was actually killing some of the people.
Yeah. You know, and then, so yeah, there's going to be a bit of a reckoning. People are going to be going after people like this, and they're already, you know, building their defense.
Yep.
So I think this is just a lot of CYA coming out, and this is like the very first big piece of it.
I think
You're going to
so,
start
too.
seeing a lot more of this coming, and especially like Steven has mentioned, you know, when we like we're calling the shit out. A lot of people have always called that out, and now it's getting to be more louder because more and more facts have come out. People are not suppressing it as much because, you know, certain events have come and passed where they don't feel like they need to have to suppress maybe so much or be as vigilant, you know, of what some people say. And I think that because we're other people are starting to call more and more out, I think they're going to have to react to it and respond to it, and you're going to see a lot more. I believe
so too. Yeah, I think you're right. I definitely think that we're going to be seeing something from Biden. I don't think they'll make Kamala do it because they'll make her look like she's even worse than she already is. But to answer, which I know this sounds impossible, but it's totally true. But to answer your question, Steve, at least from my perspective, I don't think so. And let me say why, and then we'll move on to the next subject. But I don't think that when they were preparing 1984 in their heads, I truly do believe that whether it's a group of 12 dudes in a room or it's Kamala and all the other dudes laughing at us and saying, look how what we very little we had to do for them to give up their freedoms, whatever it may be. Okay. I do believe they thought that because of how we've been trained, because let's be honest here. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about this later too. Like, we have been socially trained to respond a very specific way to certain things. I do it, and I know about it, and I catch myself doing it because of social media and because of the news. We're in a 24-hour news cycle. Okay, that's not an old thing. You got to understand, people watching this chat that are between a certain age range, news used to come on at certain times of the day. Okay, you get up in the morning, it's news. There was like a little tiny thing at lunch, and then there was like an evening news, and then you went to bed. That was it. We are on a 24-hour news cycle, and everything, go watch, it's breaking news, factual news. This is just breaking, blah, blah, blah. Okay? It's all the same. Everything is so important. You have to drop everything you're doing, and you have to go do this right now. If you do anything but look at this right now, you're going to die. Okay? That's kind of the way it happened. So I don't think so. I think they were expecting us to just fall in line. I mean, look at the mask mandates, shutting down the schools, freaking telling us that if we didn't go get the jab, we were going to get really sick. And, people not getting the jab, you're a super spreader. Remember that term? They said that shit to us. You're a super spreader. I mean, I had my own incident in a hotel room where this woman jumped. Like, I literally stepped like 6 inches forward to grab my key card off the thing because I wasn't wearing a mask. She was like 9 feet away from me, dude, holding like a a 24 pack of water. She looked like she just got off of the freaking homeless bus. And she was there. There was a giant business conference meeting there, whatever. But dude, I walk up to grab my card, move forward an inch because I couldn't hear what she was saying. She jumped back, and she jumped so far that she dropped all of her water. And she was like, "Don't you dare get close to me." I mean, and this was after all the kind of craziness had died down a little bit. This was 2021, and people were starting to hear some of the facts. Dude, so I saw it firsthand. People kind of reacted. Then I saw what she was talking about, people screaming social distancing. I saw a dude pulling a Cartman. Remember in the South Park episode where Cartman had the stick? And he was like, 6 feet, social distancing. Remember that? I saw a dude doing that. He was carrying around a stick, and he'd walk in the store, and he'd be like just swinging it around like this. Like, 6 feet, keep 6 feet away from me. I saw that, dude, in Texas. So if I'm seeing it here in Texas, I knew it had to be everywhere else. But all right, so next article. I hope I answered your question, Steven. Let's go through the chat real quick. I like this one. He said, in a sock and a lock in a sock is literally 1 in a million. Lock in a sock, baby. All right. All right. Let's see here. Yes, Mark, there was a lot of theoretical danger because you when you were talking earlier, there is a lot of theoretical danger. I mean, the Summer of Love. Remember Summer of Love?
Well, theatrical danger.
Yeah,
like the
theatrical.
Like the fake gallows and shit. They weren't going to hang people.
I said theatrical. I guess there's both.
But it was all to symbolize the point of you need to leave.
No, you're right. I mean, I was thinking theoretical because I thought you said theoretical, but theatrical danger makes sense too. They were basically trying to make us believe something that wasn't real with very good acting. I mean, it makes sense. It worked. It worked better than they thought. I saw the birth of CNN 24-hour news cycle. I remember reading the paper. Oh, okay. There you go. Yes, the good old days. That was from Blair. In LA, we have people wearing masks sitting next to filthy homeless dudes. Like still? Like right now? Like that's today? Wow. I heard they just lifted the mask mandate like last week or something.
You know, it's the mask thing too. I think the weird thing, because the mask, it ended up becoming like a social signal thing. It used I remember my brother giving me shit, because I was wearing the mask outside, and it was one of those things where I was inside. I had the mask on. I was doing some shit, and I went outside. I forgot to take it off. Right. Look at this fucking idiot that's wearing his mask outside. Calm the fuck down. Like, does the mask, like me wearing it outside, upset you that much? Like, I forgot I fucking had it on my face, And there's so much of that where it's just like the person, and they catch him in that moment, and they're like, "Oh, see, that's the rule for everybody," That's an example of crazy, not an example of maybe I got 2 fucking kids, and like keeping the mask on versus taking it off and putting it back on, and picking up a kid and putting it in, I just leave the fucking thing on, right? But someone sees it and go, oh, look at, there goes one of those overzealous, mask wearers. And it's just like, if you don't fucking know the person, you probably don't fucking know the person.
I've seen people driving with them on. And of course, my initial thought is, dumbass, you're safe in your own car. But it's like, if they're a delivery driver, they constantly go in and out. I'm sure they've had their ass jumped because they forgot to put their mask on someplace, So it's just easier to keep it on and leave it and just keep on driving. And
yeah, I've got, I don't know, 20 mask stories, but my favorite one, my all-time favorite, okay? Plano is the city that's not close to me, but it's, within an hour, okay? And it has slowly but surely become one of the more woke cities that surround me. And I went inside. Keep in mind, I've been kicked out of 3 Starbucks. Okay, 3. Ironically enough, I didn't get kicked out of this one. But I walk inside of a Starbucks. I wanted some coffee. Oh, and for everybody watching, yes, I drink black coffee. Yeah. Stats, baby. So I walk in. I order my black coffee. Not a big deal. And this was height of mask wearing. So I had my mask on, and it was like right here, like seriously, like right there. Okay, you could see the little thing here on my nose, and I go to grab the dude, seriously, it was this old lady, man. I go to grab it, and I had already said hello. I had already said, how are you doing today? No response, man. Like, this woman wouldn't even make eye contact with me. Never seen this woman a day before in my life. Ever. Never. And I was like, okay, fine. She doesn't want to talk. Maybe she's not a very social person. Didn't want to think too much about it. How to get to a job site, not a big deal. I think we were doing a roof that day over in Plano. And I go to grab it. She jerks this fucking coffee back. And she's like, pull your mask up. And there's a chick sitting right next to her that works at Starbucks. And her mask is like right here, like a mouth out. And yeah. I didn't miss a beat, dude. I go, oh, can you please tell your coworker to pull her mask all the way up? Considering mine's barely down at all. And she goes, that's not the point. The point is that you can't be served if you're not wearing your mask. And I'm like, well, doesn't that mean she has to get fired for not wearing hers? Gotcha, bitch. You know, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, I was super nice. I walked in the door. I greeted them. I even put a $5 tip in the thing. I was very nice, man. You know, like I wasn't a jerk at all. And then that's the response I got. I didn't do anything to them. Nothing. Like
it became more of a power trip for some people after a while.
Yeah, it did. And again, that's just like one of like 20 different ones. I had not that exact same situation happen, but I had it happen in like several different locations all over DFW. All over DFW. A guy would come up behind me, like, dude, like right here, like within like 6 inches. And I would turn and I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? And I would stand up like, man, get the fuck away from me. And he'd be like, sir, you need to pull up your mask. And I was like, and you need to suck a dick? It's like, dude, what the fuck, man? And I'll never forget a police officer in his car with his mask on. And I'm walking. I was right over here by my house. I'm walking. His windows rolled down. He's just sitting there parked. I was about to start running. And he's like, sir, where's your mask? And I'm like, not on me.
Yeah, I did not have that experience at all in Virginia. And Virginia is a bluer state than Texas, you know. So yeah, Virginia was kind of weird. It was very like if you went to the wait staff, right? Like to like a restaurant or stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember the guy just being very like, hey, look, dude, I just work here. If you wear your mask, it's going to make my life way easier from dealing with the fucking health department. Literally, yeah. Words like that. And I was like, I can respect that.
I can respect, you know, if someone would have asked me that, Mark, I probably would have been like, you know what, man? I don't want to make your job easier, bro. Okay, that's cool.
It's not like in China. You know, in China, they made the diplomats, they were saying, oh, we're going to do your COVID test anally. I lost my shit laughing because that is such a ballsy power move to be like, yep.
Wasn't it? But they said that if they didn't do something, right? It wasn't like they were gonna like do it to every person. That was like a punishment, wasn't it?
I think it was some shit they tried to pull on the U.S. That's in country, basically being like, yeah, if you want to stay in country, we're gonna have to test you for COVID with the butt swab. And
yeah.
Did you guys have the silver bullet in the Army?
What was that?
Did you have the silver bullet in the Army?
What's the silver bullet?
I'm not going to say it out loud. Right? Remind me later when we're off broadcast. I'll tell you what the silver bullet is.
When you're in processing?
Nope. No. Dude, you never were in the situation to hear about the silver bullet, and be glad. That's all I'm going to say for now. Just remind me later. I'll tell you what the silver bullet is. Okay? Blair, I'll tell you too, but we can't say it on air because someone will hear it and call their mommy.
You know, we were asking for it because, you know, you may be a gem of a person, Vincent. When you go in and get your coffee, you may be the person that walks in and says, you know, good morning, how are you doing? I hope you have a wonderful day. Here's a tip, whatever. You give the service sector that gets shit on day in and day out by, like, you know, caffeine, you know, addicted people, a little bit of power. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. I mean, I saw it firsthand, man. I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, it wasn't just them though, dude. I would be in grocery stores. I'd be in freaking now also, and of course, you know, I've had plenty of people point this out. Imagine this. You know, I typically rub people the wrong way. Okay. It's something I've had to face since I was very young. All right. Like, I'm loud, I'm rude, I'm in your face. I'm incredibly aggressive. I'm super intense. Guys, this is without cocaine. Okay? There's no cocaine in this. This is just, I wake up like this. My bones might be old, but my mouth is not. You know what I mean? Like, so this is just me. And when it first started happening, I was like, man, is it just magnified because of my personality? You know? But no, man, like I would see it like at gas stations, dude, pumping your fucking gas. And it's like, guys, you gotta stop, you know. But all right, Blair, I want you on this one, bro, because I know you've been waiting for this, man. This is all you, buddy. You get to have this one, man. I'm letting you take the rails. Go for it, dude.
Twitter mass firing begins. Yes, indeed. The day of reckoning happened. Space Daddy dropped the hammer.
Look at that Chad right there, baby. Look at that face. Look at that, man. I wish we had a video clip of him walking in with the sink. All right, there you go, bro.
On Thursday, Elon Musk is expected to cut 3,700 Twitter employees, or over half of the company's workforce globally, to rein in Twitter costs, according to The Verge. There are a lot of people. India got cut. Here in the States too. To prevent sabotage, Twitter has temporarily shut down all of its offices and disabled badge access to all physical locations. An email was sent to its employees on Thursday informing them to go home and not return to the offices on Friday. That's pretty standard procedure for tech.
For tech, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. They were trying to make a big deal about that on some of the platforms. They were saying, and he shut down everything, and got rid of our access. It's like
I worked for a very large insurance company, and they were doing a round of layoffs, and they cut off access to the data center. It didn't matter what, you couldn't get in there anymore, and it was because IT people have the power to take your company down totally.
Wow.
You know, they'll go in, they'll pull the plugs off the servers, they'll pull the mainframe. You know, so that's standard procedure. So this wasn't anything different. Some employees in the UK said their computers were remotely cleaned while they slept, and they lost access to Slack and Gmail. Yeah, they got wiped remotely because they don't want them to have anything.
Yep. Guys, what does CC mean? Is that credit card?
I don't know. I don't know what Stevens.
So it's not just me, right? Like, I'm like, is that another word I don't know?
Who needs Coca-Cola or crack cocaine?
Oh, oh, dude. Oh, I got you. Dude, you are so right. Oh my God, that is so true. Sorry,
Chris Yunny, who works for Twitter and Entertainment Partnerships, tweeted, well, this isn't looking promising. Can't log into emails. Mac won't turn on. But so grateful this is happening at 3 a.m. Really appreciate the thoughtfulness on timing front. Well, there's never a good time to do it.
Yeah, is there a good time?
No. Oh, here it is. 90% of Asia, 85% of the India. So Asia got hit the hardest. But, you know, they're not showing pictures of those people.
Okay. And when they say Asia, when they say Asia too, remember, Asia's a giant continent, okay? It doesn't just mean Asians, all right? Like, that's something people always forget, dude. Like, Asia's not just Asians, all right? So remember that. Or Orientals, okay? All right. Now, I don't think it's on here, but there was something that I saw earlier where
scroll up. There's a copy of the 2 emails you got.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go right here.
That's what I was looking for.
There it is.
Right.
You're fired.
Where's it at? Oh, right. Okay.
Right there. Okay. Hello. As shared earlier today, Twitter is conducting a workforce reduction to help improve. These decisions are, you know, it's a standard email. We're looking for, you know, what we're doing. If you scroll up past her teeth.
Now there was one. Blair, I saw it earlier. There was one that literally said, you're safe and you don't have to worry about being fired.
The next one.
And you have to worry about being fired, right?
The next one, I think, is the one. So you got 1 or 2 emails. Either you're being let go or you got you're safe.
Okay.
I think the next one is the other. The
today is email. Read this, dude. I can just see Elon Musk like saying this to someone like, across from the table, like straight face, like while he's like computing a way to make $1 billion while wasting his time firing you. You know what I mean?
So,
Like,
there's a law in California that if you're cutting somebody, I think they have you have to give them 90 days.
We talked about this earlier. Yeah, there's a law. It's in California and New York.
So that's why it says February.
Yeah.
So it's like what happened to me, because I worked in Illinois, they had a 30-day. They're locked out. They can't come in. They're done. But yeah, they're going to get paid for 3 months and have benefits. It's like you're being paid to do. You're basically, it's called you're working. Your job search is being conducted from home. You know, you're technically employed, but you don't do any work and you can't even come in. So don't bother.
Right. And it makes sense. I mean, look, when this is all said and done, I don't want anyone to lose their job. Let's make sure, because I don't want someone posting this all over the internet and being like, yeah, Vincent said they should lose their job. He's such a callous bastard. You're not wrong. I am a callous bastard, but I have standards. Okay? Like, no one should fire anyone, one, without proper representation of the reasons why you're being fired. And two, in a situation like this, unless you're like a CEO and you already, because most people don't know this either, but most of your CEOs have got a cancellation package. So when they get fired, they're getting paid to get fired. That's a part of your contract from being a CEO of a company. So like for instance, at Home Depot, you have like, hey, you're not doing good for the company, so here's your $20 million. You're fired. That's real. Okay, so all those higher echelon people that he fired on the first day, it was like 30 or whatever. I guarantee you, each one of them had a check just given to them. Okay, so
they're hoping to get fired.
They're hoping to get fired. Yeah.
So he fired them for cause, which means they're not going to get their golden parachute.
Oh, are you serious? Dude, that is so pimp. Wow.
Yeah, he fired him, and he specifically said fired for cause.
Did you see the video of that poor bastard, Blair? Did you see the one where he's got his little box and he's like, yeah, I gotta go home and talk to my wife's boyfriend. Did you see
those two guys are trolls? It was funny though, but they were fake. They were not employees.
I know, but it was still great. I
would have loved to have them. So the first round of CEOs that got walked out, they got frog marched out. And
oh no shit. Okay,
yeah, they were ejected out.
Wow.
And because they're fired for cause, they're not getting their golden parachutes. So of course they're all going to sue. Wow. Now a lot of these people here are suing, saying that we were fired and we weren't given 90-day notice. But if you read that email, this is your 90-day notice today. Yes.
Now
you're going to get paid. So they're not. Yeah, this is the email they got if you were safe.
Now, I read, though, real quick, before we get to this one. I read today, while I was texting you earlier, they are still not allowed in the building. Right. But they are going to get paid. They get paid like whatever their normal pay schedule is, whatever their normal pay is, they're going to get paid until February. So they have until February to find another job. I mean, dude, I've been fired before. That's not normal. So Elon Musk is not just a Chad, dude. He's a very, very nice Chad, all right? Like, he didn't have to do that, man. I bet you he could have found some loophole and figured out
this is easier. Yeah. Now they have less to complain about. Like, look, I followed the law.
Blood in the water 90 days. Type thing.
Yeah. But this is the email you got if you're safe. Thank you for your patience, your commitment to the important work you do. We are sending this email to confirm your employment is not impacted by today's workforce reduction.
You're safe. You rolled a 20. Dude. Oh, man. Wow. Twitter. Okay. So you labeled it as Twitter. That's cool. Let's see what we got some responses here. Won't get to tweet it, but here it is. The last @Twitter tweet from my team and I. Love y'all and thank you for the honor of a lifetime. By literally everyone. Okay. Catherine Broadnex. Is she famous? Do we know who this is? Is this someone? No. Unfortunately, I've lost my job that I care deeply and passionate about supporting Twitter's growth globally, keeping their workforce safe, planning our global strategy and passions. Then she had to follow it up, apparently, with thank you to all the wonderful people I had a chance to work with and helped me learn and grow tremendously throughout the past 2 years. I don't regret a moment. You don't regret a moment of censoring people from their ability to be able to say whatever they wanted to say. Okay, cool. Noted. This is Man Bun right here, dude. He's like a man bun waiting. You could tell just from his little picture. Like right there. You know, little man bun there. But no. Woke up to the sad news that I'm no longer a tweep. A tweep? I've never heard that term before. I guess a Twitter employee? Tweep? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Okay. I loved every single moment working in the global at Twitter comms team, collaborating with and learning from an outstanding group of talented people. Thank you to everyone who made it so special at one team. All right. Now that sucks, man. I mean, hey,
But
I don't know what happened to Eric, Mark. I sorry, bro. He told me he'd make it, man. I mean, it's an hour and 5 into it now, so I really wanted you guys to meet. If I ever get a chance to have him on again, I'll definitely, let him know that you were here and whatnot. If I do talk to him later this week, but I apologize, bro. I was kind of excited for you guys to get together and meet.
Yeah, we got here and hang out with you.
Hey, dude, it's all good, man. I've noticed, I don't want to get too much into this, but in my journey, as I'm calling it now, I've noticed a lot of like cliquish behavior. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. Okay, like people have their own cliques, and I don't change myself because of a group or because of someone telling me that I'm rude. It's like, okay, I mean, cool, thank you. So
I guess I wouldn't say. I mean, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, on this, but I think a lot of people they do wear different hats, right? Yeah, this is actual side Miley's playbook.
Dude, I love that. I love that, dude. Steven, that's awesome, man. Wow, Steven, that's great, dude. Thank you. He's been making me laugh like pretty much the entire time. All right, and chat, thanks for being here. We've had as many as 7 for about a second, but no, please continue your thought, Mark. I was not trying to cut you up.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah. I guess just depending on the group, right? Like I didn't think I was going to have a comic group, and I don't know if that's what you were talking about with the cliques with, so who I am when I was in the military versus who I was, who I am at, when I'm making comics, who I am when I'm in my dad group at the end of the street,
Right.
So it's, I think we all wear different hats at different times, some of us maybe blur the lines, a little bit more than others, but I think one of the things, and I wouldn't mind getting a little bit more light shed on this, as somebody who has not felt censored by social media platforms, but then again, I'm only posting pictures of comic books. I guess where is the major grievance? I guess coming from your guys' perspective. I mean, I could guesstimate based on things that I've heard and things like that, and things that I've read. But obviously, hearing it from the individuals themselves is always provides a lot more clarity.
It seems like the rules that are playing by are not evenly enforced.
Definitely.
Someone with what they believe is their belief system, or they're kind of like going along their lines, is given a pass completely.
Good word.
Or an opposing view is just flat out gone. Your account's been terminated, or you've been on a ban for a week. Versus somebody else will just like totally get away with something.
Yep.
So the perception is it's one way only. And that's where a lot of this hatred for Twitter and kind of glee now, the kind of the Schadenfreude, is that you kind of get what you deserve. Fuck you. You played it that way. Now it's being turned on you a little bit and you're just totally losing your shit and you can't handle it. So,
And then the idea is that Elon Musk is going to play this thing more even-handedly, or going to be more of a champion towards.
That's the hope.
Here's the thing. Like any time that somebody who lives a dramatically different lifestyle than me, right? Like obviously my day-to-day life is from like Elon Musk is dramatic, hey, I'm going to come and out of the goodness of my heart with all my billions of dollars, I'm going to come and help you, the little guy, out. I'm like, what the fuck are you selling me, guy? That's the first reaction anytime, and it doesn't matter left, right, or whatever, the spectrum. Anybody who's got it way better than us that says, I'm going to help you, the little guy, it's like, no, you're coming to fuck me. You're just sweet talking.
Right? I mean, it is, man. Okay. Now, I've been, I got some good advice from George, and I don't want to be too hard on anyone. I mean, I understand what everyone does what they do, and for anyone out there, like I was expecting more people to come tonight. To be honest, I really was. I was expecting them to be, because I try to go in, I try to say hi, I try to sit on people's chats, and watch their shows and support their shows. I go on and I constantly tell people, encouraging stuff. So I was expecting a few more people tonight, and I'm not exactly sure why they didn't show up, but I got to say this, and to my fans out there, to Blair's fans, to your fans, and to the people that don't like us too. This kind of goes both ways. Look, you're not going to change people. Okay, we are who we are. I mean, look, I'm over 40 years old. I'm not changing. Okay, my woman would tell you this: trying to get me to change and doing anything, you might as well smash your head against a brick wall while speaking Greek. You'll have a better chance. It's seriously a better chance. Okay, so I don't blame anyone. I'm not saying that anyone has to do anything, but I am surprised that, especially based off of the things that I've said and that I've done, and I've pretty much done everything that I've said that I would do, and I've acted politely and with dignity and with honor, I am kind of surprised that I didn't get the reception from the people that I go see. And maybe they come on later. That's fine. And maybe this is just a bad timing situation. That's fine too.
You want to drop the link?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Is someone wanting to come on?
Yeah, Skinny wants to come on.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Skinny's a comic book guy too, Mark. I believe he drew his comic. He's not with CG. He's an independent, completely independent, totally. And good timing too, because we got two comic book guys. And guess what the next one is going to be? We're going to be talking about Zaslav cleaning house, man. I've been waiting to talk about this all week, dude, because there is a very, very, very small fucking chance that we might be getting back our comics guys. Okay, like you won't have to settle for the Namor from India, bro. Okay, like there is a chance. Okay, and what they're talking about is
we'll see.
Hey, look, dude, I don't want to make you guys think that we are going to definitely get it. But what I'm saying is I'd rather have 5% than 0. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All right, so let me hit the head, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm for Klimt.
I know we gotta change the subject completely on him, Blair. So what something absolutely.
Yeah, I know. So,
go ahead.
Have you heard of the term Iron Age comics?
No, I'm only familiar with like Golden Age, Silver Age.
So it's kind of it's a term being described for independent comics now, like from the Comics Gates guys or Eric July's Ripperverse. Basically, people making their own shit for each other. Not Marvel or DC, because they pretty much abandoned. They only write stuff for their friends now. So people are writing stuff themselves, and it's been dubbed the Iron Age by a YouTuber called Razor Fist.
Okay.
So it's basically stuff like what you're doing. You would be an Iron Age comic in their eyes.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch what the indie community. I think one of the cool things to see is, hey, Skinny.
Hey, Skinny.
Is, the abundance of, like when I was at Baltimore Comic Con, I met so many people that I had talked to for, close to 2 years, online, and to have them kind of just pick up start having drinks together and shooting the shit, you know, buying each other's books or whatever, introducing it to everybody on the floor. Like that kind of like, you know, blew me away. It was like a family reunion of a family. And I think a lot of that had to do with like, you know, coming out of the COVID restrictions and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Okay, now we're we're all just fucking starved from fucking human contact. So you know, even if we don't, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about this comic, this create content, people are a lot more accessible. Like, you know, I'm on a live stream with you. You know, you'll see even Van Skyver doing his live streams, or Eric July, or even Razorfist. All these other people are on YouTube a lot of times, or on Twitter. You know, a lot of the DC and Marvel types are not going to talk to a lot of people generally, or, you know.
Yeah, I think that. Well, one, I think that's the most enjoyable part about all this. You know, like make something. It's not just the making of it, but also sharing that experience with other folks. But also from a consumer end, I talk to people who you know want to publish through Lesser Known Comics, which you know is my small publishing brand, and I tell them, I'm like, it's not enough to be kick-ass, make good comics. Like people want to know who makes their comics, you know?
Yeah.
And they don't really care if you're polished, you know, if you're shitty on an interview or whatever. You know, they know that you're a real human, that you're not an asshole, that you pass what you do, and you treat other people like, you know, with respect and stuff like that. And then they're like, okay, and you make dope stuff? Okay, I'll buy your stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
I kind of capitalize on the flawed stuff like you were talking about. Like, I don't intentionally make bad comics, but there's a lot of shit my artist does that I let slide because I'm like, I'm independent. This is what it's about. It's supposed to be raw. It's supposed to not be this polished thing. And I don't know. I made a lot of people angry a while ago, and I was like, hey, you know, you don't have to look exactly like mainstream guys.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, and some of the best comics I ever read were independent comics.
And that's not to say that mainstream itself has a bad style, but you know, like if you're gonna hate something so bad, do something different for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the stuff they're making is total shit too. You know.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, Blair.
I haven't bought a mainstream comic in probably almost 5 years now. I quit when they canceled the New Age of Heroes that DC was doing because I was pulling all those, man. They had like a lot of actually really good new books coming out. They had Damaged, Silencer. The Unexpected was actually a really good one. They had gay characters, but they weren't like running around talking about sucking dick the whole time. They were actually characters who just happened to be gay.
Oh, you mean like Robin? You mean like?
Oh no, this guy his power is actually really cool. I forget his name, but he was like
Steven.
Hey,
gentlemen.
Hey, Steven. Welcome, man.
But his whole power set was like he can like morph his body like oil paints. And it was really cool. But then DC's like, oh wait, no, these comics are too good. We got to can all this shit and do this weird ass Dark Knight's Metal thing. Part 2, the death metal, was it?
And then it's one of those things where you couldn't just be gay, like in real life. People are
no, we have to go much further than just being gay.
You have to be super gay.
You gotta be like,
tell you how gay we are.
Superman's
and remind
son
you
has to date an Asian with pink hair. That's a man. Steven, please introduce yourself. And Skinny, if you didn't, man, whenever Steven is done introducing himself, please promote your gear, bro, so that everybody can see it, man. I want you to be proud of it, and I want them to see your stuff.
No worries, man. Yeah, my name is Stephen Ransom. At least that's what I get called online. In actual life, it's Stefan, but I accept Stephen Ransom as a moniker of YouTube. So
nice.
It is a handle after all. So just like Blair to Blair, I'm sure has a first name.
He's Blair of Blair, bro.
That's right. No, he Blair to Blair, man. What you talking about? Represent.
Represent, man.
He's
So
the
you're
wizard.
from California, is that correct?
No, born and raised in New York, North Shore of
Okay.
Long Island, but I moved out to Cali back in '98.
Okay.
They hadn't
Right.
even finished the Kodak Theater yet. It was still under construction when I moved out here, and now we have a real transit system that's like right back to a global standard. Actually, it's pretty far spread across the city for $1.75. It's amazing, but
Dude, I wish we had that shit here, man. It cost me $20 to drive down the tollway now. It's crazy.
now, we got rail underground and above ground
Yeah, we have
across
a-
the entire city of Los Angeles on a single fare, and you can
Okay.
just transfer.
That's awesome. That's probably one of the very few things that I would enjoy in Los Angeles, but I get you. Yeah.
Like center of Los Angeles to Long Beach for $1.75.
Damn. If you guys
Yeah.
don't know, that's wow. That's
Yeah, when I
wow.
travel, people always tell me, they say, "Oh, I visit these places in the U.S." and it was before this with L.A. They'd be like, "How the fuck do you guys get around anywhere?" Like, yeah, we like to,
They're not. I saw an old map of the red car, the original red car. I was
Yeah.
down in Seal Beach, and there was a couple of old box cars set up as a diner. And inside, they had all the paraphernalia, including some of the old maps. That rail system was as far reaching as the automotive system almost is today. Like, you could be living in the middle of the valley, in the middle of nowhere in the valley, and be able to walk down to a train station and then go all the way down to Seal Beach, which is at least 50 miles past Long Beach on this thing. And there were attaching lines that like broke into the local neighborhoods down there and everything. It went to all the military bases, all up and down the coast where the PCH is, was
Yeah,
all
yeah.
railed. It's like, it's insane how much we lost because of a couple of tire companies and the invention of combustion engines.
I mean, he's making a good point. Now, when I was in San Clemente over on San Mateo base, we had buses that would come pick us up, but the only rail that I remember was in San Diego, and that was 1999 to 2003 before Iraq. So we didn't have a rail that went anywhere near us, at least not that I ever saw. That doesn't mean that it wasn't there. When I would go over to Pico, there was like a trolley, I think. Yeah, there was a trolley in Pico. So, but I mean, shit, dude, we just, Marines, we just jump on buses. We didn't give a shit. The bus came and picked us up at the barracks, and we're going out. We only got 3 goals: get drunk, get laid, and don't die. So that's pretty much all we gave a shit about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. So it wasn't much. It wasn't hard for us to figure out.
When in the early 90s, I was at Fort Gordon, and I went on a date. We both got out of the thing, and we looked up in the yellow pages out just off base. We looked up in the yellow pages at a phone booth where the nearest hotel was, because we both wanted to get it on. Right?
Hey, yo, dude, I am guilty of banging
We
chicks
walked
on the coves, dude, against the rocks. Okay, dude.
We were military, man. This thing was 10 miles away, and the two of us did not care. After those 10 miles, we made love all night because we were friggin' military.
And let me tell you what. He's not lying, all right? Let me tell you what, okay? Listen up, all right? You get a cute little honey at the bar, the club, whatever, right? You take her to that fucking cove. Dude, she's putty, all right? And you're in the best shape of your life. Dude, I was running 17 miles a day at a certain point in the Corps, dude.
That's right.
I could fuck for 8 hours straight without even stopping to take a piss. That's no joke, dude. Okay? You got to understand that, all right?
And the chick I'm talking about, she was also infantry.
Okay, that's
right?
different. That's
this
different.
Isn't what this wasn't a townie.
You were brave,
she wasn't
man.
a townie.
You were brave. You were brave.
Okay. We were both in the military, and she was in fine shape, right? Top of her game, and an adorable brunette. So yeah, I mean, We walked that 10 miles. We didn't even bat an eye. 10-mile walk. We're not even wearing gear. We're not even wearing a helmet,
That's
man.
nothing, dude. 10 miles when I was 21 years old in California. That wasn't nothing, dude. Man, a morning for me in California, we got to get to the next article, but the morning for me in California, dude, was I'd get up, I'd go to the chow hall, because you ate for free. And the only meal you enjoyed was breakfast because you got the omelets. All right. And they almost always had, it wasn't corned beef hash like I would in my traditional, but they had corned beef hash almost every morning. And so I'd get an omelet, corned beef hash, and some kind of vegetable, right? I'd run to the beach. Our part of California had overcast till about 9 a.m. So as long as I get to the chow hall by 5:30, I could be at the beachhead by 7. Run there in my silkies, get on the beach. I'd body surf or bodyboard surf because I never actually surfed in Cali, or for another 2 hours. Run back, and then start your day. I mean, like it was different then. It was totally different then. California is totally different now than what it was back then. Hey, but before I get to the next subject, Skinny, you're muted, bro. Can you? I'm gonna put you on the main screen. I'll put you on the main screen. Go ahead and promote your gear, bro. I'm gonna get the article ready. Okay.
All right, cool deal. Yeah, I'm Skinny. I do Skinny's comics. If you want punk rock fucking comics, I'm your best bet. I'm actually working on doing getting some disc plates. This is going to be a variant cover for issue 3. Obviously, we're doing a tribute to Ernest P. Worrell here.
Awesome. He's amazing.
I grew up on Ernest, man. I love Ernest. I've wanted to do this for a long time.
Know what I mean, Vern?
Yeah. So all of that's actually done. I'm just wrapping up on fulfillment for issue 2, which I don't have the issues yet, but I've got all the goodies. Like I've got these metal trading cards that I actually did
cards. Yeah.
As a, let me see if I can turn off the light. Maybe you can see it better.
Yeah, that works.
That works. That is badass, dude. It's like Joker's cards, man. That's so fucking.
Yeah, and it's a aluminum trading card, and it's got Otis there, Kilikami for mommy, pissing on the grave of Karl Marx because.
I mean,
communists can't complain. They would have to participate in a capitalist system to get my books. So,
well, no, that's not true. They can't complain because they're dead. Okay, let's just
yeah.
I got other if they ever even lived beyond writers.
I got
But dude, if we do it the right way, it'll work. Don't you know that?
Yeah, I got metal. Right. I got metal bookmarks too. That's just 2 of them.
Oh, that's fucking sick. Dude.
And I actually had the artist do custom art because I don't know, not shitting on anybody, but like if I'm going to do a bookmark or something, I want to do new stuff. Like I don't want to just rip something out of the book and throw on there because it's not going to, man. It's not going to fit right either, especially with a bookmark, man. This is like 1 inch by like maybe 8. 1 by 8.
As many bonuses as you can tag on to any book, man. You could just offer.
Yeah, dude. I mean, people are gonna love that because hey, creator wants to look. His creator is into comics too. Creator wants to see the actual comic. Will you show him the size of it? The one that you showed me the other day. Do you have it like next to you?
Oh,
check this out, dude. Check this shit. This is badass, dude. Mark, you're gonna love this shit, bro. Mark, if you can ever make one of these for me, like issue number 1, what he's about to show you, bro. I'll pay for it.
Where the hell?
I promise you. Just let me know how much it
costs. I think it's buried somewhere. I think I got it.
It's underneath. It's underneath the punk rock panties and the boots, and
it's underneath the laundry that I haven't folded yet. It's where it is.
Nice. Skinny is real, man. You're totally real.
He's like, I don't give a fuck, man. I'm gonna show everybody exactly what this looks like. I don't give a shit.
Living on the edge.
Creators, he's doing it. I promise. He's gonna show you. I promise. Okay.
If I can find them.
Well, all right. Tell you what. You find it. I'm gonna start working on the article. All right. I'm gonna split screen this shit.
Yeah, get my ass off the main camera too.
I don't know, man. Let's trade in those jeans, bro.
Reach deeper.
Looks so good in those jeans, Skinny.
I had those damn proofs. I don't know where the hell they went.
Dude, we have got to get him to do what's his name from Family Guy. Oh my God, what is his name? Every
Peter?
time no, not Peter. The
Brian?
No, the teacher that always has that voice, dude. Holy shit.
Oh
There's
no!
yeah, there it is. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no!
All right, so here we go. You can see it on the screen. Look at this. Okay, now, as I stated earlier, I do not want to get anyone's hopes up. But if you haven't been to my channel and you haven't subscribed, please go to my channel right now, shameless plug, and subscribe, like, and watch my videos. One of my videos is a review on Batman Superman Battle of the Super Sons. Okay? And guys, if you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie. All right, it's not in theaters. You got to go to the Play Store. You got to buy it, okay? But it's giving me a lot of hope, and that's why I think I honestly do think Zaslav, if he hasn't seen the movie, he knows about it, and he's probably heard the reviews on it, and all the reviews are blazing from based people. The woke people are pissed, but the based people are not. It was a very good movie. I don't want to ruin it. It's got family values. Lois is a badass. Superman's a badass. Batman's a badass. You actually don't hate Damian for once. He actually has a character you don't hate, which is crazy because every other movie we've seen him in, Damian's been this little punk kid. You know, I mean, if you guys have seen it in the movies, I've never liked him. I've always thought he was a horrible character. At the end of this movie, not anymore. I like Damian now. Seriously, legit. Okay, Damian's my boy right now. So anyways, all right. Warner Brothers Discovery chief David Zaslav on Congdom's content strategy, real focus on franchises like Superman and Harry Potter. Okay, that's Zaslav, right? The guy with the stupid face.
Yep.
All right. In the very near future, it's pretty simple what the new Warner Brothers Discovery will zero in on. This is Zaslav quoted. For those that are listening, we're going to have a real focus on franchises. President and CEO David Zaslav said on this afternoon Q3 earnings call. For those of you that don't understand what Q3, Q1, Q4 are, those are basically the earnings for a company. So Q1 is a specific time at the beginning of the year, then Q4 is the end of the year.
Every 3 months, yeah.
Every 3 months, yeah. We haven't had a super. I love this. This is my favorite line. Okay, now Nerdronic didn't like this line, but I understand what he's talking about. We haven't had a Superman movie in 13 years. Okay, so remember, that's what? It was Superman Man of Steel, right? That was his first solo. Or what was the one where he has the plane and he catches it and Lois is the skinny, ugly chick?
Superman
Returns. Yeah.
Superman Returns. Okay, so he's saying since Superman Returns, we have not had a good movie. He doesn't even count that one because that was a shitty movie. Okay, my opinion, Minecraft. Okay, so Zaslav emphasized we haven't had a Harry Potter movie in 15 years. Now, if you guys don't know this yet, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I read the books and watch the movies once a year, both of them. Okay. I love them. Now, I do agree the movies were not as good as the books, but dude, the movies are some of my all-time favorite, series. From
well executed. With any faults that they may have, or all of their faults as they may have. I mean, they were doing an honest job of it, right?
Yes.
They were trying the whole time. It shows
they really were
trying.
They might have focused on Hermione a little too much, but I didn't care. Like maybe the tree scene, that was probably the only scene. The Great Willow was the only scene I really didn't like in the entire 8 movies. That I just was like, what? But other than that, man, I still watch him.
But he doesn't count the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yeah, he doesn't count them at all. Yeah, that's right, Blair. You said that earlier. He doesn't. I mean, who would? I mean, good for him. Dude, those movies were hard.
They're a political disaster. The whole thing is a political disaster.
What's the guy's name? Is it Newt? Is that right? The character, the
Newt Salamander or whatever.
Newt Salamander, right? Newt Salamander. Okay, dude. Did you guys catch a little, I don't know, subtext from that character? Maybe from a previous movie he was in, where he bit into an apple or something. You guys catching the reference here? For those of you that don't on the panel that don't catch it in the chat, I can't even say it. If I say it, we'll immediately be banned. That's how bad it is.
Are you referring to a role where he may have been transformed in such a way?
I think you might be onto something there, bud. I think you
Well,
might be
this is
on
the first movies where, okay, so after all the Harry Potter stuff came out,
Yeah,
J.K.
yeah.
Rowling then came out and said Dumbledore's gay. Even though there's nothing about it anywhere else. That's just what
Okay.
she said.
All right.
Well, this is the first set of movies where you see it, and it turns out he was dating the head bad guy at one point. So whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Or they were, yeah, like okay, and let's be very specific about the way we say this, okay? Because I've read the books multiple times and I've watched the movie multiple times. Can any of you, at any point, for those of you that haven't read the books and have only seen the movies, is there anywhere in the movies at all, anywhere where we would think that Dumbledore would be a homosexual? I mean, be honest. If I'm wrong, tell me. Okay, but where?
No, I've got a better question for you. Okay, at any given point in the entire Harry Potter series, should Dumbledore even be thought of as a sexual being?
No,
I mean,
not at all.
Doesn't this guy have enough on his plate?
Dude, he's the greatest wizard of all time ever to exist. He carries the wand of destiny. He fucking he is the Chad of the entire storyline. That's the best part. He's the Yoda of Harry Potter, and Harry Potter's Luke. That's
what does it even mean to get off in the magical world?
Wand of destiny around me, I'd be like, I think this dude might try to fuck.
Dude, I want to see
What?
Wizard.
So wait, hold on. You're saying that you got creepy vibes from him in the movie, really?
I don't want to go in his office alone.
Hey, I'm like an equal opportunity employer. I'm just saying that if some guy came around and he said, I have a wand of destiny, I'd be like, hey, this guy might try to fuck me tonight. I just
Okay, but Harry Potter was innocent. You're talking about yourself.
Harry
Potter was a pure innocent dude. He's like the Goku of the world, man. He doesn't have an evil thought in his head whenever we first see him, right?
I want to circle back to wizard orgasms, man. Like,
yeah, me. What does that even mean? And also, Mark, how would you even know if you wanted to get some action, right? I mean, would you even know? They could do a memory spell on you.
Yeah. What was it called?
It's Wingardium Roofy.
Yeah.
Wingardium Swallow.
Wingardium Swallow. Wow.
Or,
we're going off the rails. Okay. Back to it. So we all agree or disagree, but I still don't think so, dude. I never saw anything. All right. The DC movies and the Harry Potter movies provided a lot of profits to Warner Brothers. Oh, what was that? Vincent? Did someone just say profits? Holy shit. Motion pictures over the last 25 years, he continued. Recently, Henry Cavill, Haas, announced that he was reprising his role as the Man of Steel.
Yeah, I'm fucking excited, man. I love Henry Cavill.
I mean, I like Henry Cavill too, skinny, but
he showed up to The Witcher fucking when he was auditioning for the role in a homemade fucking costume, man. He's one of us.
Dude, he is, but he let them destroy Witcher, which pissed me off.
I don't think he had any control over it.
He could have said, go fuck yourself. What was their backup plan? Gay brother Hemsworth?
Didn't he? He just told him to go fuck themselves. He's going back to being Superman.
Yeah, and just like to what extent my wife's a super fan of Witcher. I was at Baltimore Comic-Con and I get like 3 missed calls from my wife. I got little kids, right? And the first thing I get this 3 calls and she says, I have terrible news. And I'm like, oh no, somebody's hurt. She said, Henry Cavill's leaving Witcher. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
You're not getting laid on that next episode, bro. Sorry, man.
I think there was some stuff that came out where, it alluded that he was just sick of the people who were writing the shows, just hated the content. And
the producer came out and said that many of the writers openly hated and mocked the source material.
They couldn't stand it because of toxic male bullshit. Yeah, he
tried his best to get them on point, but it sounds like after season 3, he was like, fuck this.
Okay,
like, I give
Superman. Okay, here's the point though, and this is something that I brought up when it first came out. I watched the entire first season against my better judgment. Okay, because dude, I'm a huge Witcher fan, massively huge Witcher fan. Read the books, played the games, dude. I'm solid. Not as big as Preacher, not as big as Harry Potter, but I'm pretty solid. Okay, and It's not a story about fucking Yennefer. No one gives a shit about Yennefer. She's got big boobs and a nice ass, and that's it. As a matter of fact, if you play the games, she's a horrible person. Dude, she literally, like, he loses his memory and she's like, fuck you. She's out. She leaves him in the middle of the forest during the wild hunt. She's gone, man. She just abandons his ass. And then when he finally finds her later, she's like, oh, yeah, my bad. Dude, you hate her character in the game. Like, seriously. Like, I was Triss Marigold the whole way, man. But my point is that during the series, in the first season, 70% of the show was the backstory for freaking Yennefer.
They said he was not the star of his own show. And
yeah. Dude, I mean, dude, I'm like watching it, right? And they would take little things for nostalgia, like they love to do to us, you know, where they take little tiny tidbits and just like throw them out there, and they're just like, hey man, bite this shit. Like the insects, you know, where she or a wizard was controlling an insect. Dude, the insects were just roaming the world, but they put that in there for us because at the beginning of the game, you don't mess with them, they'll kill you. You have to get a certain type of sword and a certain type of armor and upgrade your skills to even be able to compete with them. So, like, they are a really, really, really hard part of the game. But once you get to another part of the game, when you're leveled up enough, you're just walking around collecting carapaces, trying to make the next suit of armor. So it was such a kick in the face, man. And the way they tried to they race swapped Triss, and they made Triss's character mean nothing. She was nothing. All right, in the series. That pissed me off too. And then Yennefer's this misunderstood ugly duckling that becomes a swan. Yeah, you can go fuck yourself. Just go.
I agree.
I mean, like, I
don't
just,
let that put Henry Cavill in a protective bubble, though.
Okay. Oh, and I will agree with you, Skinny. In the panel, if you agree with Skinny as well, he was the only thing in the show that entertained me.
He is the only good thing.
He was
show.
it. There was okay, but it wasn't worth it, man. It wasn't.
No,
worth
it wasn't worth it. I didn't.
40 minutes of shit for 5 minutes of Cavill. It was just.
I didn't watch it, but I do watch his other stuff. I think he's a really solid actor.
He is. I
absolutely,
like him absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a Mission Impossible fan, but I love the bathroom scene, dude. Oh my god,
he was great in that.
Dude, that bathroom.
And I really liked Men from U.N.C.L.E. I hear people get pushback on it, but I liked
it was
it
good. It was good.
I like what they were trying to do, and they did it well. I've always said that the only way to do James Bond from here on out, if you want to do James Bond for real, you want to relaunch it as a period piece historically based on the original novels, and keep it in that time period. Do not try to bring it into the present day at all.
No,
this way you can get away with the masculinity, you can get away with the sexuality, you can get away with all of that stuff, but do it Tarantino style where it's hyper violent.
Now, just James Bond's a woman and she's black now, right? Is that correct? I didn't watch the last.
Who knows what they're going to do with the way Warner Brothers is going now, and with the way some of the comic book companies might be shifting in the very near future. Who knows? If they hold off for 2 more years and wait for the election to happen in 2024, who knows what they're going to do? It's all up in the air at this point. We're at the threshold point right now, where the money people and the insurance companies are like, what are you doing?
Okay. I mean,
and Cavill should be A-list star in, a movie every other year.
He should be the new Schwarzenegger. He's Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan in one basket, man.
Thank you. Yes. And I agree with you. I really wish, but this was also partly him though too. And I think this is kind of where Skinny's point was coming in. He is one of us. So the problem with him is he's probably been kind of waiting for this, waiting for the whole concept, right? So Eric's here. Shit. Dude, Eric. Oh my God. Finally. Thank you. Guys, Eric was supposed to be on here at the beginning. You're late, but better late than never, my friend. I really do appreciate you coming. Will you drop the link for him, Blair, please?
It should be there in the comments if he just scrolls up a bit.
Scrolls up a little bit.
I've been noticing that the StreamYard links, especially in the YouTube chat, time out after a certain period of time.
It's probably smart. It probably keeps the trolls from giving me an issue. But
it's a security issue, even for
security
StreamYard.
issue. So here's my thing on the Henry Cavill situation and the Superman thing. I'm done with DC. I'm done with Marvel. You guys already know this. I've said this before. But if we're going to do Superman again, dude, the only way that I'm going to go to the theater, and I hate to say this because, man, this is just saying it makes me mad. Either they need to wipe out that crap that happened before, okay? Like all of it. I mean, every bit of it. I don't care. Go back to the Man of Steel. Don't give a shit. Whatever you got to do. Wipe it out. That never happened, okay? Say it was, use some stupid thing where it's like an alternate universe, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Both of these divisions, MCU and DCU, both have the mechanism of multiverse at their disposal.
Which is the worst thing ever to happen to comic books ever. It's what destroyed our comic books. But in this situation, Eric, if you don't want to come on, brother, don't worry about it, man. Dude, it's okay, dude. Thanks for showing it, man. Just sit back, relax, listen to some geeks and some gamers talk about some shit that I know you want to hear, bro. Mark is on the panel, Eric. That's the guy I wanted you to meet. He's a writer. He has his own comic book series. Mark, if you want to, drop your link. Skinny, drop your link too, bro. Creator, I don't know if you have a link or if you're I mean you haven't actually talked yet about what you're working on. But man, if you want to promote your stuff, if you want to put your stuff in the chat, man, go for it. Eric is an artist. He does great work drawing. He's a good guy. I like him a lot. He's been with me since the beginning, just like Blair. Okay. But here's my thing, guys. If we do this right, if we do it the right way, same thing for Marvel. Okay, I'm done with Marvel. If we do it the right way, they have to wipe away everything. We've already ruined all of the storylines. Spider-Man's dead. Venom's dead. All of them. They're all gone. They fucked us over royally with Infinity Wars. Just done. Okay? I mean, Infinity Wars was like getting the ass beat out of you and then having them shit in your mouth. And then after that, they sew your mouth shut. That's what Infinity Wars was. Okay? The whole ridiculous woman power scene where they're carrying the gauntlet across the freaking way. I mean, like everything was just either intersectional feminism or some form of just, woke PC bullshit. And it was the same thing with DC. And they're doing the same thing again with Wakanda Forever. It's happening, and we're just going to keep seeing it. So if they're going to do this and they're going to do it the right way, and we don't want a Rings of Power, and we don't want any of this other crap to happen again, I don't think it's possible. Two, another company's going to have to do it because it's not going to be Hollywood. I don't think. And what do you guys think? I just want to rant. So you guys turn.
Yeah, I don't want to keep chiming in. Skinny, Mark, what do you guys think?
Yeah, well, please.
I gave up on Marvel and DC, honestly.
What was that?
I said I gave up on them, honestly. I don't have an opinion as to where they should go. I don't give a shit anymore. I left the party. Remember I was talking to you the other night. I explained it as it's like burying your favorite pet, No. I admitted it was dead. It's in the backyard somewhere, man. The chickens are shitting all over its grave. I don't disparage anybody who's still invested in it, though. It's just personally, I'm just, I don't give a shit.
I mean,
okay. I was talking to Mark about this earlier. That's why we have the Iron Age now.
Oh. Yeah, like I'm more focused on who's coming out with what now. Like that's the stuff that I'm getting more invested in. Is a lot of these indie creators. Like Doug Garrett's a really cool guy. He's got an awesome book out there. Psychotron, which is like an obsolete World War III super soldier who's just having to do mercenary work because he needs a new fucking arm or a new fucking leg, and it's really cool, just off the wall stuff out there that I'm just trying to get invested in. I hope one of them make a movie eventually. That would be awesome.
Well, okay, let me ask you this before I finish this article, guys. Let me see how off I may be. I've mentioned this character before, and I want to talk about him crazy so that I can get these people to shut the fuck up. All right. Why did we never get a Shadowhawk movie? Why did it never happen? Why?
Shadowhawk is.
Most people didn't know who the fuck Captain Marvel was. They killed her 7 times.
Yeah, most still got that movie. Know who Blade was.
Yeah, they didn't know who Blade was. We got a Blade movie, and Blade was done pretty good in the first one.
Yeah, I'm Wesley Snipes. They're like, who are we gonna shove Wesley Snipes into in this? They say, okay, we're gonna do Blade.
Yep. Yeah, no, dude. And the new Blade movie was all woked out, so they stopped that shit. I think they tried to keep themselves from having a Batgirl, Batwoman problem.
There's an interesting effect with the Blade film, the original Blade film. First of all, it was an independent production company under a larger umbrella. It was one of the first things that it was one of the early pieces that Mike DeLuca ever worked on, and he pushed for it like a maniac.
That's right.
He's a gigantic comic book fan. I've actually done tile work in his house, and he is a legendary comic book fan. I mean, I've spoken to the guy about it. But
he wasn't on 2 or 3, was he? He didn't even have anything to do with 2 or 3.
Well, he got the ball rolling in the right direction because he knew what the property needed. And then, like a good businessman, he profited and got, and did what he had to do. Yeah.
That makes sense, though. Yeah.
But the reason why Blade worked so well was because his canon was unfamiliar to the normal audience. And I think that's how Iron Man worked as well, because they introduced an Iron Man that was only under development 5 years before in the comic books. And that was the armor suit Iron Man, where you actually saw segments of armor, and it was done Rocketeer style, where it was almost like an Art Deco Howard Hughes kind of feeling to Tony Stark. That was all kind of new, only 5 or 10 years before, we got Robert Downey Jr.
The movie came out. Yeah, it was like his 3rd story arc or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you're right.
So it was because of that lack of familiarity. And I want to mention this out loud because Skinny makes a really, really great point. I think we're done. I don't want the MCU and the DCU to recover. I don't care. Stop wasting money on the damn thing.
No, you're right. No, 100%.
It's gone.
Yes.
I will remind everybody that the movie The Crow was a feature-length film adapted from a independent comic book creator. Okay?
I've got it sitting right over there.
A legendary comic book movie.
It's in the back room in my man cave in the back, sitting in a box right now. It's one of the darkest, most grittiest, most fucked up comics you will ever read. All right, and it's completely in black and white. And let me tell you what, man, they might not have got everything right in The Crow, but dude, I could still watch The Crow every Halloween on Devil's Night and be fine every night. Okay, and it was one of the very rare times where I hadn't read the book yet until I saw the movie. All right. Now, granted, he's right. The book was amazing compared to the movie, but the movie's still good. There's no woke PC bullshit in The Crow. My God, man, he literally tells a woman one of the greatest lines ever quoted of any movie that I've ever seen. Mother is the word of God on the mouths of children. I mean, dude, we don't get that kind of writing anymore. And that was Brandon fucking Lee. His acting wasn't the greatest. But, dude.
And Eric Boyd mentions Spawn. Spawn is another one. It's from Image Comic Books. Dude. It was an independent book.
Image, period, man. Savage Dragon, Shadowhawk. That's why I keep going back to Shadowhawk, dude.
I agree. There should be a Shadowhawk movie because it is a perfect IP for it, because it is a closed story. It doesn't keep going. There's not all this fucking canon. There's not all this lore. He eventually dies.
Yup. Hey, Skinny, why does he die?
I don't remember. I just remember that he does die.
Anybody? You remember why Shadowhawk dies? Thank you.
I knew it was something weird, but I couldn't remember.
He's a gay black superhero with no powers.
But he just ran around breaking people's spines.
Yeah, dude.
You're a cripple now, bro.
Yeah, I can't remember if he had like a bionic suit or something or whatever, but he was was it like a former cop or former Marine or something, special forces, and then he just got fed up with the bullshit, dude. And he was like, "I'm killing motherfuckers." Something
along with his PTSD or shell shock, whatever.
Something like that. Yeah. And he fights Savage Dragon. That's something a lot of people don't know too. He didn't go blow for blow or anything, but Savage never touched him. Never laid a fucking hand on him, dude. And Savage was a hoss. All right. Like Savage was that dude. He didn't, he was like Savage or like Shadowhawk, dude. Like he or whatever. He would like break his enemies in half. He was a savage motherfucker, dude. Like
but Dragon. Spawn also had that animated HBO thing that
was good.
the Todd father himself like had his own little opening for each episode, which was
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was really good.
it was really good, man. I was
Mhm.
actually rewatching it with the wife last year on HBO Max.
That's kind of one of the ways I think of the, when you think of what all the different IP that like the Marvel and DC has out there, right? Like a lot of the animated stuff is a lot better than what they have like in cinema, and kind of trying at some point, just the same as they also have kids versions adaptations, like of whether it's Avengers or Spidey and Friends and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, that part's not for me. Like I get it. It's vanilla down. It's down for written by a committee. It's not written by a visionary or something like that. It's it's done to sell a particular product to a general mass, and it's shitty and it's sad, but it's like a kids show, right? It's not, but that's on serious, right? You can't show that to your kids. That fucking thing is disturbing, So just because it's animated doesn't mean it can't be, or the true, adaptation that you wanted to see.
Yeah, Spawn had nudity, cursing, some pretty good kills.
I got in trouble for watching that. I remember my mom was like, "What the fuck?" Watching?
Oh man, my friend's mom, she let us rent one of the animated VHS tapes of Spawn, the HBO one, because we're like, this is as close to the movie as we're gonna get, and she thought it was just a cartoon. She's like, okay, this is safe. She walks in like on this one scene where the bald guy was like butt fucking the chick, like in the bed, and you can just hear all the sounds. Oh, and she just storms in the room. What the fuck are you watching? We're like, it's a cartoon. And
you guys want to see something really fucking cool? Ooh, what movie? What movie was that?
Twilight Zone, the movie.
Oh, people died for that movie.
Live Vegas covering it. Oh gosh.
Let me see. Hang on. I got to do this like multitask this shit.
Dude,
Make yourself big, Vince.
I'm trying. Hang on. Stop screen.
Gotta rub it.
I wear glasses, so I can only see in 20 frames per second. All right.
Fucking rad.
Oh, right on, man.
Nice.
Okay, so they made 3 of them. Okay, there's volume 3. I don't know where Angela is. She's somewhere though. All right, and here he is. By the way, another black superhero.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Ceiling broken. We already did this, kids.
Dude, we already did this shit. This has already happened. You're not doing anything that's brand new. You're not like creating this.
Yeah,
like,
we even had Shaq running
utopia
around
shit.
as Steel, for fuck's sake, man.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Now that was horrible though.
That was terrible.
They were both horrible.
And then he had the Genie movie. What was it, Shazam or something like that?
Oh God, dude, no.
The Boombox Genie who comes out to terrible hip hop music that was written by like a 5-year-old.
What was
Kaboom or some shit? I don't know. I know.
Yeah. So
Man of Steel. What was that one called? Because it wasn't called Man of Steel.
no, it was called
Superman Returns.
Oh yeah, that was the one. Like in the beginning, Lois was such a. Can I say it's the C word? I will just bypass it. She was such a bitch.
Yeah.
She married somebody else and had a kid with him, for crying out loud.
Like when she got messed up in the airplane, I was so damn happy.
She had a
I
kid
was
with
like,
him, remember?
fuck that lady.
She have a kid, remember? That wasn't the other guy's kid.
Well,
Yeah,
whatever. She was raising it. He thought it was.
She was, yeah. She like Lois was a really bad character in that movie. That movie was garbage. Okay, let's just say that first, okay? But Lois's character in that movie was like, okay, I don't want to call her the worst version of Lois, but she's in the top 3 of the worst versions and representations of Lois.
Kazam was that movie? Shaq.
Kazam, not
yeah.
Shazam.
Vincent,
that's
let me
the
explain
Mandela
something.
effect one with Sinbad.
Okay, I saw Star Wars in the theater when it came out. Okay, I was in 2nd grade when that happened. All right, in elementary school, and I saw Bionic Woman and the Bionic Man come on TV for the first time and watch the original episodes live on TV. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to go see that Superman movie, I was like, I was already an old man by comparison to most people watching comic book movies. I was like, what the hell is this? I had the same reaction that I had with Godzilla, with the Matthew Broderick Godzilla. I was like,
Oh, that's a lot
don't
of
talk
shit.
about that.
What
We
the
don't talk
heck
about
are
that
you
movie.
guys doing?
La, no.
Man, my dad and I went to theaters to see that movie, and we were excited because
I
we
went
love
with my
Godzilla.
friends.
So was I. I was like,
That was
okay.
the first time I genuinely ever saw my father angry too. Is when we got out of that theater. And he was
Nice.
like, "It's fucking movie," and I'm like, "Jesus, Dad."
He went from
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which was one of the greatest movies ever made in the 80s, to that.
and
that's
right
stupid.
on the heels of a Cable Guy too. It was like right around that
that's
same
right.
time
Oh my
period.
God, that's right.
When did Election come out? Because that's a fucking great movie.
That was
Election?
around that. It was after that.
It was after.
after that.
Huh, okay.
And he was tagging on it as an adult against an ingenue, right? Because she was in high school age, Reese Witherspoon. That was when she was just getting started. And she played a bitch as her first role.
Well, I mean, but that's something else too, though. I mean, like your average female in any movie now is just, anti-male,
It was before
anti-establishment.
Bad Girls too. She
Yeah,
did
I
it
mean,
first. She was
so,
one of the.
No, I get it, man. I'm so tired of the narrative. Okay, like okay, if we were talking about a one-off movie, boy, Super Spark, awesome, dude. I wonder how many toys you have, man. If we're talking about a one-off, right? Like, let's just say there was a movie like Mean Girls, or what was the one called, Gobstopper or Jawbreaker or something? Jawbreaker. Like, dude, I enjoyed Jawbreaker. Dude, those women were horrible women, man.
There's good chick movies. Clueless is like one of my favorites. Honestly, I will die on that fucking hill. Clueless is an awesome
Clueless was
movie.
a good flick. Yeah,
Heathers as well. Heathers.
Oh my God! Thank you, dude. Thank you. Heathers was an amazing movie, man.
And brutal.
Wow.
Before anybody else was really doing that sort
brutal.
of thing.
The end scene where he's like missing his fingers and shit.
Yeah, it's like you thought it was all like tongue in cheek too, and then all about like 2/3 of the way through, you're just like, hold on a second,
murder,
wait.
man, murder left and right, dude.
And
Write
then-
the suicide note, bitch.
I mean, even all of that stuff is kind of lame. I mean, like you had "I Spit on Your Grave" back in the what was
70s.
Yeah. The 70s, and they did the remake, and I
Oh,
watched
yeah.
I watched
Well,
the first 15 minutes of it, but I was
and
just
even the original Night of the Living Dead, the protagonist was a black dude. Or
Yeah. Yep.
well, that's right.
Yep,
You're
yep.
absolutely right. The guys at the end of the movie.
Well, I got,
Like
I got another one
Zaslav-
for you. Go
What's
ahead,
that?
Blair.
I was going to say back on the article, Zaslav is about making money now.
Yep.
So he wants to work with J.K. Rowling again with a new Harry Potter stuff.
She bailed out, dude. I mean, she gave in, man. I mean, like, she's gonna buckle again. If she buckled then, she's gonna buckle now.
I don't know about that. That fan base turned on her so hard. If she could make a deal that she likes with them, it would almost be a revenge for her. It would almost be vengeful. So I don't know. This political climate is causing a lot of natural human behavior to erupt from nowhere.
I mean,
And I'm talking about the nobler side of people, where they're just like, hold on a second, what are you saying? My kids and
mostly
the
peaceful
rainbow
protest.
flag. Even the homosexual community is starting to turn on the narrative, because they're just like, hold on one moment, please.
There's a man that I know. He's like my big brother, dude. And he's in the homosexual community. He's in the gay community. And I have gone to lunch with him. I mean, dude, like, I trust this guy. I've known him for over, I think it's coming up on 30 years now, something like that. And he is so angry with the way he's being represented and the way his community is being represented, man. He is pissed, dude. Like, we get into these knockdown, like, just both of us are just angry. We're not angry at each other. We're angry at what's happening. Okay? And I can see it. I know my brother. I know him very, very well. And I know that it just, it pisses him off, dude. Like, he'll be at the gym and he'll see something and he'll call me as soon as he leaves the gym, like, dude, this just fucking happened. And he's like, he's mad. He's really mad. And you're talking about a happy-go-lucky guy. I mean, dude, this guy was one of the happiest dudes I knew. I knew him before I went to the Corps, man. You know, and you're right, dude. It's bringing out this horrible side of people. And some of my videos on my channel are specifically for this reason. Like, that's why I started the channel, was for guys, for men and women. I wish we had some women on the panel. For men and women to have these conversations that they don't want to have. People were so afraid just to talk about something. We don't even want to bring it up anymore because we're so afraid we're going to get canceled. There are people specifically on YouTube right now that don't want to talk about a specific subject because they're afraid they're going to get canceled on all 5 of their platforms.
But I'm gonna re-utter what I'm actually trying to say, and what I was trying to mention in my original chat is this notion that, okay, Princess Leia literally says it in Star Wars. The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. And that we are living a reality of that with this narrative nonsense. There are more people slipping to the hard center right than ever before in American history. It's happening spontaneously by accident in a lot of cases. People are just being like, no, I'm not doing this. No, this sounds ridiculous. I'm done.
I'm still telling you, man, they didn't expect us to do that. I'm still telling you that. Go ahead.
Maybe they did. Maybe the guys above, they guys, the guys that tell the men in black what to do, those guys.
Those guys, them.
I think they tried to do it the other way, where they thought they could regulate everything. So now what they're doing is deregulating everything. And we're stuck with the opportunity to see this is what it would be like if these liberals ever got their way. But there's a leash on it, right?
So
the pandemic,
so you're saying
the entertainment industry, there's a leash on all of it. And when we finally flinch hard enough and vote correctly, the leash will be held.
Yeah, that's the thing.
By them.
Because,
well,
the themification of like our conversations, right? Because, I've traveled all over the place, right? And we think it's backwards when we go to a country where they're saying, well, as soon as we get rid of them, or as soon as we get them to think like us, then all our problems are going to be fixed. And we say, what a bunch of fucking idiots. And then we come back to our country and we do the same shit to each other.
Right. No, you're right.
It's not, hey, if Mark gets his way, I'm going to start making Vincent wear a burqa when we hang out or something like that. That shit's not going to happen. Because me and him respect each other as human beings. Me and him are going to have a beer and we're going to have a disagreement. And we're going to be like, blah, blah, blah. Fucking, Vincent's got some thoughts that I don't fucking like, but fucking like drinking with the guy. And that's what you got to get back.
But that's what made friends, Mark, right? I mean, your best friend in high school. Let's just go back to something as stupid as high school, right? Your best friend in high school wasn't your best friend in high school because he said yes to everything you did, unless you were a narcissistic prick. Okay? And the guys I'm talking about. Okay? The guys that walked around and held their head up higher than everyone else and thought that they could do no wrong. Okay? God's gift to women or God's gift to men. It was chicks too. All right. And those people, you knew them. You could tell right away who they were. But your friends, like in my group had sports players, we had Magic players, we had D&D players, and we had gamers. That was my group. All right. I was the only person that was in martial arts, so I couldn't ever have the conversation about martial arts. But I wasn't the only sports player. I had other football players, I had soccer players, baseball players. But every single one of us played the same thing. What connected us was D&D. We all played D&D. That was our thing. Okay. So you have these like 8 geeks in a room, right? Just playing D&D and Magic for like 3 days straight on a 3-day weekend. And not a single fucking one of us could agree on a goddamn thing, man. Nothing. Like, we would spend 8 hours deciding what fucking spell to cast in the goddamn hallway. I mean, dude, that was the best part, was that we did not agree with each other. And now, if I say I don't like strawberry jam, I like fucking raspberry jam, I'm outed.
Fucking fascist.
Yeah, I'm a fascist, dude, because I don't like your fucking jam.
Microaggression. Strawberry jam community. Yeah.
I remember reading that article about 8 years ago. The one from the professor from Yale. He was like, well, the only way to properly respond to microaggression is with macroaggression. And for those of you in the audience, and for those of you that are here on the panel that don't know what you probably know what microaggression is, but if you don't know what macroaggression is, that's when you physically cause harm to another human being. So this intelligent, brilliant fucking professor from Yale University told his students that the only way to respond to microaggression, which you can't even help doing because you don't know you're doing it, is to beat the shit out of them. Gee, I wonder where those anti-fascist people came from. Sock and a lock?
I would still like to see that as a Monty Python routine. It's like, the only way to respond to microaggressions is macroaggressions. I shall now demonstrate. Grabs a bat and in a very clinical manner applies maximum aggression.
Dude, like there's just some dude like eating a burger the wrong way. That is not the proper way. Bow.
I've seen people react to T-shirts. Wearing a certain color T-shirt in a certain neighborhood has gotten people in trouble. It's like, for real? The laundry is done. It's like I haven't folded my new laundry yet.
That's true. I kind of grew up in the hood. Yeah, you wear the wrong color shirt, you're getting fucking shot.
Yeah.
No lie.
Yeah.
And that red and blue is not necessarily Democrat and Republican, man. That's like,
no.
You see this?
Yeah, forget about it. If you wear a bandana in the wrong neighborhood, you could get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, no shit. That's where I grew up. Okay, I've never heard of this comic.
I don't think it's like that anymore because they're all wearing skinny jeans and like Rainbow Connection fucking polo shirts.
Dude,
can you imagine the Bloods and the Crips in like Beverly Hills right now?
All the modern rappers right now look like they just walked off the set of Reading Rainbow. No shit. Prove me wrong.
Oh my god. All right, so Super Spurg. I don't know this. He says, I used to be a hardcore Spawn fan in the 90s. Then I moved on to Dark X. I don't remember Dark X. But I realized X was basically old crime comic book like The Shadow. All right?
Okay. Like that was a negative.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's getting there. Then I found out the creator of The Shadow was inspired by Robert E. Howard Solomon Kane. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Carol, what's up, girl? See?
Nice.
We need someone like Carol on the panel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's just
hey, Vince.
Just Carol.
Yeah.
You wanted to mention Westworld?
Yes, I did. I did want to talk about. Did you find an article that I could pull up?
I just saw a little blurb from Neurotic on Twitter about it. I just remembered it.
Yeah, that's who. I saw watch one of his little shorts on it, so that's where I learned it from. But yeah, like if you want to grab that and send it, I'll split screen it here in just a second. Damn straight. Yeah. See, this is another reason, guys, why I think that they're starting to hear us, man. Like, that's why I have more faith in Zaslav and Superman, because we have things like Westworld that just happened. So, hey Blair. All right, let me get the split screen. Did you put it in there already, bro? No?
Not yet. I'm looking it up now.
All right, cool. So, but no, I mean, like, back to Spawn and Shadowhawk and all that. Like, I've got a theory, okay? And if you guys disagree with me, fine. But here's my theory. All right, it's kind of like the same reason why we have Captain Marvel and why they decided to make Psylocke a bad guy in the horrible X-Men movies, and why we had to create stupid female characters like in Deadpool that never existed, and she just happened to be a lesbian, right? Okay, so here's my theory. All right, I don't think that they were as dumb or as blind as we want to think of them as. I think they had plenty of people do research on it. I think they had plenty of people go in there and say, okay, these are the characters from the comic books. These are the characters from our stories. This is what they like. This is what they didn't like. They probably, I would say a majority of them knew them quite well. Okay. But they saw a problem in their narrative, because I think all of this is connected. I think the whole thing is just one big giant ball of go fuck yourself. So they were like, guys, if we don't push the narrative of intersectional feminism, if we don't push the Black Lives Matter narrative and the fact that white supremacy is real, then if we don't push it in this, then no one's going to believe it. Because when you see something enough times, you start to believe it. All right.
I dropped the link in the chat.
That's it. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I think they knew full well about Shadowhawk. I think they knew full well about. I mean, they knew what the Crow was, and they made the Crow, and Shadowhawk was more popular than the Crow. So, like, I mean, they knew about Psylocke. They knew about all the characters from X-Men. I mean, dude, look what they did with Scarlet Witch. Dude, Scarlet Witch was a joke. She wasn't this like super hardcore main character, man. I mean, she was like a side piece for Wonder Man. That's pretty much what she was. Okay, and now she's the quote unquote destroyer and creator of worlds.
Well, you know, they can't take an existing gay character or a black character, except for Black Panther, and do something. They have to take a straight person and change and fix them.
Oh God. Yeah.
You know, they don't have the creative talent to create their own, nor do they want to wait and work on it for decades. Because Batman and Superman didn't happen overnight. They were decades and decades.
They were decades and decades and decades. Yeah, yeah.
So they take what's there and fuck it up and then move on to something else.
All right, guys, here we go. Westworld. Enjoy, because this is awesome. Okay, can you guys see it okay? Is it there?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Westworld canceled after 4 seasons. In my opinion, they waited 2 seasons too long.
They do the same thing with this. First season is great.
Yeah.
Then second season, the shit starts.
Yeah.
And third season, it goes right off the fucking rails. And it's.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed the old movies and the first season. I don't know how you guys view the Westworld series or the Westworld movies, but you know, there's Future World 2. If you guys ever saw that one, that was also a part of the series. It was another area that was created by the same people that created Westworld. It was just more of a sci-fi kind of thing versus a Western thing. So the series created by Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, an adaptation of the 1973 Michael Crichton film, all right, boasted 9 primetime Emmy wins during its first run and 54 noms, as well as big name casting including Anthony Hopkins, Ed Harris, Thandie Newton, Tessa Thompson, blah, 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 all these people that we hate. Luke Hemsworth was in it, guys. God, he's going to be a running gag forever after this shit. Aaron Paul and many others. Newton won the series' sole acting Emmy, supporting actress in the drama series in 2020.
I want to get paid for a job I didn't do.
I know, right? I mean, because what did she do?
Holy shit.
Yeah. For her portrayal of Maeve. Wasn't she like the 4th or 5th like character? Like she wasn't even like one of the main characters, right? She was was she the prostitute? Or I can't say that word, god damn it. In Minecraft. Wasn't she the lady of the night that ran the saloon? Wasn't that Maeve?
Oh, she's the android prostitute.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
It says that right there. It was the next slide.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't even go that far.
Oh, nice. The article says it for us.
I know the article says it.
The article says it. So
dumbass. Who began the show as a Western town android prostitute called Host. I just said the word out loud again in Minecraft. On the show, and eventually evolved into a badass warrior protecting her robotic king. Carol, don't be mad at me. Rebecca, don't be mad at me. It's just, I'm so tired of it. I'm just so. And guys, I'm not going to speak for you.
You know what's really good is fucking Del Toro had dropped a series on Netflix, The Cabinet of Curiosities. If you're into like the Twilight Zone kind of horror anthology aspect. I watched the first one last night, and it was.
I said about half of them. They're pretty good.
It wasn't okay. If you guys want to talk about that, we will. I've already watched the entire season. I'm going to do a review on each episode. But I'm probably not going to agree with you guys on it because I've gotten so sensitive to it that I'm just like, and I'm beyond fed up with it. So thank you, Carol, for not being mad at me.
Vincent?
Yeah, I'm fed up with it because I told you, I put it all in the same ball, man. It's all together. The anti-fascist movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, the intersectional feminism movement, the triple colored hair freaking LGBTQ, I hate all men because you're born with the penis movement or whatever it is. Now, granted, I understand that people that are turning into and transitioning don't hate people with penises. What I'm saying is that it's all a part of the same thing. It's all in this giant ball of go fuck yourself.
Can we just say fuck weirdos in general? Just
but not every one of them are bad. That's the problem.
I don't care.
Just it.
I don't
but
have
that's just
time
it, though.
for their bullshit.
Neither
Fuck
do I.
outta
Neither
here.
does
I got
anyone
my own
else.
problems.
But here's the thing, though. It's brilliant, Skinny. Think about it. You attack one of them, and you attack all of them. It's brilliant. I mean, dude, their strategy is smart as fuck. You attack one dude, right, that's in Black Lives Matter. Guess who you're going to have outside your house with a bunch of Molotov cocktails and bricks?
Yeah. We call those gangs.
Exactly, right? Anyways, to talk about Cabinet of Curiosities, when I watched it, I went into it with an open mind, okay? And I'm really curious after you guys watch it, because I waited, 3 months for it to come out? And, Guillermo del Toro has kind of turned a little bit to the left, and he's kind of jumped on the bandwagon a little bit. He's not full-blown woke, but he also, allowed them to create that series about the Day of the Dead, which was totally woke. But 1, 3, and 7 were my favorite of the 4. I kind of liked the one about the artist a little bit. I just didn't really care for it. It wasn't really my cup of tea. But
Hickman's Model. Yeah, that was an old H.P. Lovecraft story.
Yeah, an old H.P. Lovecraft story. It was okay. It wasn't one of my favorites. But 1, 3, and 7 were good. Number 8 is literally right out of the Babadook. And if you watch the Babadook and you know what the Babadook was about, you know where I'm going. Okay? It was literally like they just took the Babadook and they just rewrote it and changed it a little bit. That's all they did. All right. So
that was my favorite one.
But was number 8? You like number 8 the most? Okay.
It was scary for me.
It was, and it is a little bit, but at the same time, I'm watching it, Blair, and I'm like, okay. I mean, for the people that don't know the Babadook, aren't familiar with it, all right. But Blair, I'm not gonna. The only one I didn't like was the one with the chick that did the stuffing. The what is that called when you kill animals and you turn them into stuff?
Taxidermy.
Taxidermy. Okay. So that's the only one that I flat out just did not like. Like that one was just, I thought the whole episode was just stupid. Like the whole concept was dumb. Because the main male protagonist in it is like the biggest moron in the world. But when you're watching them, it's like, okay, it's not as bad as that other show that I watched. And I felt myself giving them a pass, doing it again and going, well, I mean, I'm kind of entertained, right? I am. I'm a little bit entertained, but it didn't rock my socks. I didn't leave the Cabinet of Curiosities except for episode 3. Episode 3 was definitely my favorite. The only one that I've even been thinking about at all since after I watched it was episode 3. That's it. It's because, I mean, episode 3 actually had some like things in it that kind of make you go, wow, okay, all right. I mean, that's some stuff to think about. Now, this is all my opinion. I value all of your guys' opinion too. I would love to know what you guys think about it when you watch them.
Which one is number 3?
Number 3 is the one about the alien.
The autopsy. Yeah, it was a really good one.
The autopsy was, in my opinion, the best one.
I just saw the first one, which was like 36, the one about the storage room.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really liked, but because it has like one of my favorite actors in it. Like I love see. I don't even know the guy's name. Like he was in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou and a bunch of other stuff.
Yep.
And I always just like seeing him and shit. I'm like, hey, I like that guy. He's always a cool dude. But could any of you guys like understand what the fuck he was saying during his introduction? Like he was talking with the lisp and he was like whispering at the same time, and I was like putting my ear up to the TV like an old man, and I was like,
Spanish is his first language. He's Mexican.
Well, yeah, I realized that.
And then
I had to turn on subtitles. I was like, I have no idea what this guy's trying to say. I didn't want to be like rude about it, but I wanted to know if anybody else had any difficulties interpreting.
I checked out the Toro you're talking about? You're talking about the guy okay.
Yeah, his little introduction, like in the beginning when he's like talking, I couldn't understand a fucking word he was saying.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
he
and
had
that
that
rebel
language
leader in
barrier.
Rogue One did the same thing to me. I was just like, dude, I get what you're trying to do with the breathy. You're breathless. You're trying to breathe. You got to use the
Yeah,
gas
all I heard
mask. The
was
guy in Rogue, I was like, dude, I can't hear these epic lines that you're trying to say. Okay, drop the act. It's not
I
working.
thought he was doing a Marlon Brando impression for a second. And I was like, oh,
He should
Well,
have
he
done a
waddled
Marlon
out there.
Brando impression and left the set.
he's the Godfather now.
Well, he waddled out there. He's probably out of breath, you know.
I don't mean
and
to
there was such
disparage the
important
guy
lines.
for it,
He should have chewed up the scenery with that friggin' thing, and we were all leaning forward in our seats saying, what? We were all Pee Wee Herman for 5 seconds. It was like, what the hell?
All right, guys, you gotta see this. You gotta see this, dude. Blair, this is so long, man. Oh my
Bound
god.
into Comics just dropped this, and
Oh my god, this is so bad. There we go. Look at that, dude. Oh my god. The Boys showrunner Eric Kripke closes out 2022 Saturn Awards acceptance speech with declaration of fuck MAGA.
Yeah, I agree. Fuck MAGA. I don't know what the fuck MAGA is, but fuck MAGA. Like,
whoever they are, they're talking about.
I don't think they actually have a real understanding of what the fuck they're even saying.
He has a
I'm
real
not
understanding of how much he
defending
got
the guy
paid
for
to
being
say
an
that.
asshat.
Yeah,
He's still a
dude,
fucking.
that's a good dude. No, dude.
He's a shallow asshat, but he will say whatever the fuck he's paid to say.
See, I've said that before.
Hell of an actor, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I've said that before, man. Eric Kripke has gone so woke. It's ridiculous. I mean, like, and I've said, yeah. Well, okay, let's put it this way. However woke he was before, he's doubled it or tripled it or quadrupled it. Because
Which one is he? Is he the one who plays?
He's the partial creator of Supernatural.
Huh.
Okay. So, and if you notice, if you're a fan of Supernatural like myself, after season 4, everything goes to shit.
Yeah, I stopped watching after I think maybe 5 or 6.
And it's pretty much because Kripke was basically throwing a conniption fit. And he was like, it's going to be my way or the highway. You've got a $1 billion franchise here, and you're going to do it the way I want to do it, or you're not going to do anything at all. Now, what?
Oh, no, I was agreeing.
Okay.
Yeah,
he did this thing about
these guys. Go ahead. Go ahead, Blair.
He was saying something about toxic white men. He was basically saying the same shit that Josh Whedon was like.
Josh Whedon was says,
and I'm like, yeah, when people like that say shit, they're probably like the most evilest, misogynist, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely like deflection, 100%.
Yeah, but also remember, these guys live in Hollywood, man. I mean, I don't know how many of you know what it's like to be in LA County or be in Beverly Hills and be in that lifestyle, but they don't know what reality is, man. So
yeah,
there's a very good chance, Skinny and everyone else, that they just don't understand that what they're saying is bullshit. Okay.
Patton Oswalt was giving some dude shit for like complaining about his car getting broken, or maybe it was Seth Rogen. But it was one of them was complaining, was saying, "Oh, bro, you know your car will get broken into, so just get over it, learn to live with it." And I'm like, "There's shit on the streets, your car's getting broken into, there's fucking tents everywhere. You got a new breakout of the fucking bubonic plague because your city is so damn filthy." Like
there he is right there. Can if I hit this, will it play it, guys? Will you hear it?
Yeah, we might get hit with copyright.
Oh, we will.
I don't.
You know, there's another layer to that LA thing, because what everybody has forgotten to recognize, and nobody is really talking about, is that there's a sort of mafia going on in the entertainment industry, and a lot of these guys saying a lot of these things, and gals included, are saying it to keep their job and their career. Okay, do not add that to the equation. There are a lot of these people. You know, we used to say sellout. Well, this is what it looks like, blank face. All
right. So, well, let me, okay. I'm not saying that's not true. Okay, but if we want to talk about The Boys, I mean, it's another comic series that I read every year. I own every copy, every issue. I mean, dude, it's one of I've told you guys this before tonight. Garth Ennis is, I mean, dude, Garth Ennis is hands down my favorite. I mean, he has no one has rocked my pants off the way Garth Ennis does. Never has, never will. I don't think I will ever read anything in my life that has ever just blown my brain up like Preacher, man. Preacher is, in my opinion, the greatest comic ever written. Period. Okay. So, and you know, when I read The Boys, I loved it, man. I was waiting for every issue to come out. I was showing up at my comic shop. Is it in? Is it in? Dude, I was on the edge of my seat every single issue. So when The Boys came out, the series, and I saw the first episode, and I saw the way they did Butcher, dude, because the Butcher betrayal is like the betrayal of Cassidy in Preacher. If you guys aren't familiar with either one,
I'm familiar with the book enough to know that sequence at least.
Okay. So like the betrayal of Butcher is this moment in the book where, because you start to slowly see it build up. Okay. And Butcher is quoted in the book as being the most dangerous man on the planet by the Secretary of Defense or whatever her position is. Okay. And the storyline of The Boys is, oh my God, dude. It doesn't.
It goes global before the second book, right? I mean, it's global at that point.
Yeah, and you know, I can understand their explanation when you think about it like this. They probably don't have the capability to act or to write as good as the people that made The Boys. That makes sense. But them saying that, oh, you can't translate it from the book to the screen, it's like, it ain't hard, man. You know,
we have the reality of the 22 or 25% difference in place. It's kind of like the legal sample rate that you can sample somebody else's soundtrack and not have to pay for it because it's of a certain length, right? It's unrecognizable at that length.
Yeah.
So they may deviate from the book to recanonize their property.
Maybe, yeah.
So that they can step around the writer. Most of what's going on right now is all about that. They're trying to step around copyright. Again, I use those guys, them, those people.
The them analogy. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
That's why Namor is Namor now. And he looks so different because now he's not the Submariner, and they can have him in the movie, even though Universal and other people still own the rights to him. This is as close as you're going to get to the Submariner for a long time.
Mark, you got to call me after you see it, dude. I want your full reaction, dude. Because I'm not going to see it. Not unless the people that are my fans and my subs tell me to go see it. I'm not going to watch Wakanda Forever.
I'll let you know.
Just let me know, bro. Like seriously, because guys, Mark is brave enough, and he's a big enough fan of Namor to go actually watch the movie. So, I mean, Mark,
feel for you, Mark. You're a brave person.
I'm telling you, bro.
Seriously, man.
Bring like a comfy blanket, or like maybe find like a Powerpuff Girl stuffed, like little doll or something. Yeah. I mean,
he's got the right idea. What is that? A moist towel that you have just off camera that you keep wiping your nose with, man? You got the right idea. Then just bring that. You're good to go.
Holy shit, dude!
It could get messy, man. I went in with Kleenex to go see Godzilla 2014. I was like, I don't know, this could be really bad. And it was acceptably joyous. I had a very good time in the theater watching that movie. So very different experience than Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
Which one was that? Which one?
The redo, the one that inspired Kong Island and Godzilla versus King Kong, the contemporary, the 2014 Godzilla. I thought that was acceptable, and I grew up on the original Japanese series.
Me too. I loved it, man. I own it. I own the movie. Second one, no. Like, how do you intersexually feminize Godzilla? Oh wait, they did. That's right.
Oh man, It was acceptable, man. I was
No,
excited,
the second one.
and I'm
Not the
excited for
first
the
one.
actress as well to have such a gigantic opportunity. I expect big things from that young lady, 11, over there.
Okay.
I expect
all right.
gigantic things to happen in her career. She's
I do
exceptional.
too. I do too, but I mean, like, when you're watching a Godzilla movie, okay, and this is just my humble opinion. Like, I don't give two shits about the way you think about the environment, man. I don't need that in the movie. Godzilla is a 33-story tall, radioactive, fire-breathing destruction of the environment himself. He literally radiates freaking radiation. He's destroying everything around him.
Yeah,
I mean,
and at least this time we didn't create him. He's always been here.
He's always
Godzilla's
been here.
always been here, as opposed to in the 1950s where we created him somehow. He was a dormant creature.
So, and now I like that part of it, man. That's why I enjoyed the Kong movie. That's why I enjoyed, the Kong versus Godzilla movie. But, dude, we're getting lectured in the middle of a Godzilla movie about the environment, man. I was like,
these
are you
things need to be
serious?
funded, dude.
They're bringing that to Apple TV.
Yeah. I don't know they're bringing it to Apple TV, but yeah, you're right. They need to have funding. I mean, but
I don't know who's it's gonna be woke as all. Nikidia Sarkeesian is doing it.
All right. Well,
one of those people. They're bringing it to Apple TV at Godzilla.
Is a series?
Yeah.
Well, Apple TV did Swamp Thing, the series that got canceled, but it probably got canceled because it wasn't woke enough. But I watched it. I enjoyed it. They actually, believe it or not, they actually followed some of the lore. They really did use some of the source. Whoever was doing it actually did follow some of the source material. They really did. So I
wish they would have done that with Interview with a Vampire.
Oh God, no!
It's completely deviant from the original material.
It's not just deviant, bro. Like,
I know they've shifted the time time zone, the time period. It's a child of one of the characters we know in the book. It's like, really, seriously?
Yeah.
They were Caucasian French people that lived in that part of town, and they were called Cajuns by the French. So, I don't know. You didn't need to. It didn't mean that they were another racial group.
Well, Blair said it earlier, man. Apparently,
like New Yorkers, they were Cajun. We were New Yorkers. That doesn't mean that I'm Hispanic.
Didn't make the list, bro. Well,
weird.
here's one because we're getting close to the 3-hour mark. So now this is one, and I was trying to get to it before Mrs. Semsey left and before Derek left, but guess what Prime just signed on for? Okay?
Sandman 2 season 2.
Oh God, no! No, fuck Sandman.
Prime.
Prime.
No,
Sandman can like turn sideways and get shoved up.
What Rings?
Oh yeah.
Well, okay. Rings is something else. I don't want to talk about it until we have it confirmed. But
okay.
There is a rumor.
I was guessing.
There's a rumor floating around about Rings, but before we get to Rings, I want him to confirm it before we talk about it. But,
yeah.
Because I don't want us to like go down a freaking spiral with that one whenever we don't know for sure.
So what is getting a second season?
No one's getting a second season. There is a show getting a first season, a creator, and it is drum roll, Fallout, the series.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Okay. Now, if we're following the track record that we have so far, okay, we're saying that ultimately we're gonna have the wokest video game show ever made.
Well, it's going to be Halo, but set in that universe. It reskinned for Fallout.
I swear to God, Halo, dude. Halo made me want to like break my TV. I was watching
it might be like Walking Dead, though.
Oh God, another.
Well,
but
that did see some money, and it did do some. It had some legs, and it is a hostile environment. So all that gender stuff. You know what? I have absolutely no faith in the entertainment industry. They have a 2-year ban on their activities, in my opinion. Like, I don't care what you do, okay? You've got a 2-year barricade in front of you, and I want you to be doing the most excellent stuff you've ever done since the 80s for those 2 years, because at the end of those 2 years, I will pass judgment. If you haven't changed in 2 years, man, I'm freaking done. Like,
I would not anything I love being adapted right now
no,
because
nothing. Don't touch anything.
Yeah, leave it all
Exactly.
alone. Leave it alone. I mean, in Fallout, guys, okay, if they woke out Fallout, it's not gonna be as big as Rings of Power. I don't know,
No.
Skinny. I don't know how much you know about Fallout, Skinny or Mark, but Fallout has a very large following. Okay, the Fallout community, because I'm a part of it, the Fallout community is very protective. Like when Fallout 76 came out, that was the latest version. We rejected that motherfucker because it was an MMO. They tried to force us to play with hundreds of people on a map, and it was horrible, man. Fallout is supposed to be a solo open world campaign where you basically get to create your own universe. That's the whole purpose of Fallout. So if they do create a Fallout series and they woke this motherfucker out, man.
Yeah, well, all they got to do is put the community that's the largest part of the narrative, make them the people you're shooting at, and you've totally altered the whole game right there. You make them the toxic people, the alleged toxic people, or flip that script. The shooter is very, very woke, and all the people that are toxic are not. So, however you want to play it,
that would be pretty cool.
Way.
That would be pretty cool if they did that. That'd be best. Like the main character, the Fallout character that comes, because I'm hoping they're doing Fallout 4.
Right.
So if they're
the person playing the game is a woke person.
Woke person, like they're from this time period, from like LA or something. It'll be like Fallout LA, and then they come out like 200 years later out of ice. That'd be pretty cool. But no, I'm with you guys. I don't want them to create anything. That's why, Mark, that's why I was so surprised. I mean, like, let me ask you this, Mark. Do you expect to see something different when you go? Or are you just crossing your fingers and hoping on a prayer? Which one is it?
I think it doesn't bother me as much. And I think maybe that's just because, first off, one of the best things I think that we can do is you can turn the fucking TV off.
No, you're right. No, yeah.
TV off, and then because this whole thing, I got buddies that used to code both for social media platforms and for online gaming platforms. This is a dopamine machine. All it is there is a circle that they want you to take where they're going to say something on the television that's going to piss you off, that's going to point you to an article that's going to piss you off, that's going to point you to a subreddit that's going to piss you off, that's going to keep that dopamine thing keeping you on the camera, right? And then it comes to a point where that's all you and Vincent, this is just real talk because I love you, man. How many times have you said intersectional feminism tonight, right?
30, 40 times?
That's the hook.
It is, dude. You're right. You're not wrong, Mark. You're right, dude.
That's the hook they're going to get you clicking on every time, right? Because they don't give a shit about what your fate is. They give a shit about how many times you're going to click on that, man.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was trying to mention way at the beginning of the chat, man. That's exactly my point. Is the narrative driving us? And
or are we driving the narrative?
Fight back against something you have to read about to even do all of this.
Because remember, Mark, I'm just learning about this shit.
Yeah.
Most of this stuff I've learned in the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, and now I knew about the controversy with Donald Trump. I knew about the controversy with the fascist guys or whatever. And I knew a little bit about Black Lives Matter, man, but I didn't know how deep this rabbit hole went, dude. And
oh man, I've been on this friggin' rabbit train since friggin' 91. I've been on this rabbit train. And my father was talking about this shit back in the 70s, man. I've been on this for a long time. Close Encounters was an important film from my father.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to reveal it any day now, man. It's proof. This film is proof that they're not playing around anymore.
Well,
and I was like,
shit,
and you know
Leonard
what?
Nimoy in the 70s told everybody that we were going to be in an ice age. Remember that?
Yeah.
Leonard Nimoy said that, dude. In 1975 or 77, he was like, if we don't watch out what we're doing, we will be in an ice age in the next 10 years. You know, it's
I mean,
like
Al
okay.
Gore did this whole routine back in '95, so I don't know what
Al
anybody's
Gore
talking about
is-
this being new.
Spock
Go
is
ahead, Skip.
secretly one of Al Gore's descendants.
Right? No, Mark, you're not wrong, man. You're not, dude. It's just it infuriates me that we've allowed them to get this far. That's probably why I'm so passionate about this, because especially with someone like me, and you guys please try to understand this, okay? Like for a person like me and the things that I've seen, the things that I've done, this is very personal. Okay, I mean, I've
Gotcha.
literally seen a chewed up pile of bubble gum, and I've turned him into a fucking stone pillar. Okay, and
Hmm.
to see what our men have become and what our women have become, it simultaneously breaks my heart and makes me absolutely just like, oh my god, because it's our fault. We did it. It's on us.
I'm going to introduce you to one
Right.
word to help you calm down. Just one word that I want to add to that statement that you just made, and that is allegedly. The narrative is currently telling us that that's what's going on. The media is driving the point home. But when I turn around, most everybody I've talked to, and this is in the heart of LA,
Yep.
Yeah.
they're like, fuck this shit.
Okay, then why are we seeing things like, oh, I don't
Like-
know,
No,
three oil pipelines getting shut down by Biden in the first 17 days of office?
Oh yeah, that our government has always
I mean,
been
dude,
corrupt, man.
People
I
might
swear
not
to
like
God.
it, you know, but I mean, it's happening.
Since 1964, our government has been run by the fucking CIA, man. I would put my life on that.
The creature from Jekyll Isle, you know, stuff
let me
like that.
what Steven said, because Steven, I assume you're there in LA, you know, and you know, perhaps you have a minority opinion there, you know, because I got family and friends out in West Virginia. How much am I supposed to have as a hippy dippy motherfucker gonna have in common with in West Virginia? We get along fine, because
Right.
most people give a shit about their kids, they give a shit about their family, they give a shit about their friends, about, you know, just grilling something at the end of the weekend, and you know, like that other stuff is 90% of it's noise. It's shit that's gonna happen, and,
Yep.
and this,
You know what it is? It's quite literally the narrative as it's referred to in the current landscape of media. The narrative, it's
Mhm.
basically the Howard Stern show on every channel,
yeah, I mean,
right? Shock TV. Look at these kids. They're in jeopardy. Tell me about the kids. Here are some more kids. These school kids are crying because of a Halloween mask. Aren't you terrified? Shouldn't we do something? No,
Right.
we shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's horror TV. It's horror
Yeah.
TV done RoboCop style. RoboCop did this in the 1980s, and we thought it was a joke. It's happening in real time on television as we speak.
I gotta
Yeah,
watch.
I do agree with that.
That's you got me on that.
But,
I mean, but
it doesn't change the fact that
Yeah.
women still feel it in their gut when they want to get it on. And who cares who they get it on with? You know, there is only two bodies types on the planet, period. And you're either for a woman or you're for a man. I don't care what you call each other in private, but
Well,
you know what I mean? It's like they still go
you're not
towards
wrong.
anatomy.
Yeah, but procreation is the purpose of mankind. That's, I mean, any economist or any psychologist or any doctor or physicist, scientist, if you can't even just agree on that basic fact that man and woman exist to procreate at our basic level, okay? I'm not talking about like what you do with your life, okay? But at our basic level, all right, we're supposed to procreate. That's our purpose. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not talking biblical. I'm not talking psychological. Our lizard brain, man. If you were to take away all the toys that we have, we're gonna start banging each other's brains out to make more babies. That's what we're gonna do.
to be honest, I don't even think it's a sexuality issue. I think most people just don't want to hear about anybody's sexuality in general. Like, I don't want to hear
I
my
don't
friend
care.
talk
Yeah,
about
Yep.
how he banged his wife in his car or something like that. I'm like, dude, no, I don't want to fucking hear
But
that.
I would
We-
introduce a concept to you. I would introduce a concept that the reason why they're doing this heavy-handed normalizing
Mhm.
is granted, there's this side effect of shock theater. We could make a whole bunch of friggin' clicks because
We can
clicks
normalize
are
it,
the
yeah.
new economy of the universe or something like that. It's
Well,
more
Mark
about
said earlier,
clicks than it is
dopamine,
about money.
Steven. He said earlier, dopamine, dude. He's right. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get those clicks,
exactly.
you get those views, and you're like, oh my God.
Well, it's not only that, but you've got the backlog of data that you're accumulating to figure out what the hell's going on in society in the first place. I mean, that's
Sure.
valuable to a lot of people. You know, like, how do you even calculate what's going on? I know. Let's pull all the regulations out of place and let society roam free in this internet environment so they could do everything they ever wanted virtually. And let's see what happens next after that, right?
Let's create a metaverse where you can do whatever you want and be whatever you want, and then you can just escape, you know?
Dude, if all the weirdos just went to fucking cyberspace, I would be so happy. I'd be like,
there's no way to know that
burning down. I can actually go out and support small business and be amongst normal people. I can wear a red hat and nobody will shit themselves, you know?
I mean, I want to get back to a place where, you know, I could go up to Mark and call him a freak. Me and Mark are sitting in a bar. Me, Mark, all of us, we're all sitting in a bar, right? And we're sitting there and I'm like, Mark, stop being a fucking gay bastard and not having to worry about someone hearing me say that. That's what I'm going to go back to. Okay? I want to go back to the time where if I saw an attractive woman in the, you know, this is hypothetical, obviously. If I saw an attractive woman sitting in a coffee shop and she just had that weird curve to her leg, or, you know, she wore that dress, it just made her look amazing. I don't want to feel bad about walking up to her or worried about whether or not someone's going to say that I'm attacking her or her saying that I'm some creep or some weirdo. That's all I want. I'm not complicated, you know.
This will change. This will change.
Yeah, it's burning too fast.
And I have
right.
multiple layers of proof on that in the historical record of literature. There were time periods where if you walked up to the wrong gal and asked her if she would like to have tea with you, you could quite literally get arrested for the night.
No. It's back in the what was it, 1500s?
Oh,
where you had
the
to
1600s or the
1600s.
If you were the wrong religion in a certain part of town, you could be beaten to death. You know,
I mean, because you know what, one of the stats that, you know, this is what I wanted to end on anyways. We're getting close to ending, but one of the things I wanted us to talk about tonight was this whole the concept of what makes value in a man and makes value in a woman. And now that we've lost all of our viewers, it doesn't matter now. But maybe if someone next to us watches to the end,
hey man, re-rub.
Hey, it is good. We were supposed to have more. I can't talk about a lot of stuff on here because, you know, we have this whole cliquish thing going on right now, and I did make a couple people very angry, so that's probably why we didn't have the big turnout like I thought we would.
Well,
I'm going
to remind you,
books, by the way.
What's that, man?
I did find that metal cover book, by the way. Because it's the same exact size as my other issues. It just blended in with the ones I was looking through.
Dude, sweet. Hey, keep that for the end because I want Mark to see that. Because if you could tell Mark how you made that, I want to have the only copy of #1 of that comic. Because that comic's coming to me, buddy. Dude, you guys, if you haven't read his comic, dude, it's Witches and Samurai. Witches and fucking Samurai, man. All right. But
so Vincent, I'm going to tell you that you have an audience out there somewhere, and you may recognize this if you ever decide to do a chill stream that lasts more than 8 hours. You will discover that different time zones click into your channel. I've seen it in real time on multiple occasions. I've been on streams where I was there all 11 hours of the stream, right?
Well, we did a 6.5
The guy's
hour
chat swelled to like 10 or 12 on 3 occasions because of several different time zones where he was popular. So, Friday night is a gigantic landscape on YouTube.
Yeah, and there's a big pull for this in the Asian cultures, like in Thailand, Philippines. One of our regulars, she isn't here tonight because she's doing stuff right now, but I think she said she had to go to a water park, but she's in Hong Kong, and there is a massively huge want and need desire for them to hear some of the stuff that me and Blair like to talk about. And, you know, she said she's going to send it, you know, connect us with a couple people, whatnot. But, and you're right. I'm not disagreeing, but what I was saying is there was people give their word about things and they say certain things and then they don't do them. And I'm the kind of guy that I say I'm going to do something and I'm going to do it. So like for me, and I'm going to have to get used to this. This is, you guys are probably going to have to help me with this. But I'm one of those guys, like if someone tells me they're going to do something and they don't do it, it bothers me. You know, it's just a part of my personality, you know. But, you know, and I know that, you know, people can be flaky or whatever. But anyways, I digress. So here's a stat, and I want you guys to think about this. And again, I just learned this. I did my own research on it because I didn't believe it. But if you walk up to a man today between the ages of 18 and 30, 1 out of 3 of them will either be a virgin or he will not have been in a sexual relationship with a woman, a heterosexual, obviously, all right, sexual relationship with a woman in a year. Okay? And the rest of it, the 66%, will have been with less than 3 women. Less than 3 women. Okay? So when you flip it, now this is a harder step, but they did take some numbers. Okay? A woman that has a 4-year degree, okay, so that takes her 22. Okay, we're assuming she went to college after she graduated high school. So we're assuming that she went at 18, graduated at 22. The average woman that has been to college for 4 years, it's different if she hasn't been to college, has been with between 10 and 25 men. Okay? So here's my question. Now, we know, if any of you guys know anything about psychology or if you know anything about the innate importance of a human, you know that men care about a woman's past and a woman cares about a man's future. That is basic psychology. That's 101. Okay, that's simple. A man sees a value in a woman. He wants her to be sweet, kind, submissive to him, not to the world. He wants her to be, educated, and he wants her to be a good wife and a good mother. But he also values purity above all. Purity is the most important thing. That's what average men like in a woman. Okay, a woman values security. She's hypergamous. Every female in all of nature is hypergamous. Okay, it's their natural state. They want this. They want whoever can provide the most for them, the best for them. Now, the question that I pose is the reason why we have lost so much of our soul as a nation? Is it because of social media? Is it because of colleges? Is it because of the news? Or is it because of the lack of the parenting, the missing father in the home, or is it maybe a combination of multiple things? That's where I wanted to end this tonight. So I would love to have each one of you guys' opinion on it. We can start with Blair, and then we'll end with Skinny, and then we'll of course promote our channels again. But guys, I want you to think about it. I want you to be honest. I want you to tell me what how you feel about it. Okay, like this is important. So please, Blair, go.
I think it's a combination of many things. Parenting is definitely a lot different now. Society is a lot different too. Society at large will not tolerate certain behavior anymore like it was when we were kids, or even our parents were kids, especially. The education system is a lot more different too. Not college, but even just elementary school and high school, especially,
Very true. Very true.
Also, we live more in a tech world. When I grew up, when you were a kid, you had to go play with kids. We had video games, but they weren't online. It wasn't until I got into college the internet really came along. Kids growing up now, like my kids now, they've always known high-speed internet, cell phones, streaming, so it's a different world for them. And with that comes different dangers and, different just ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think.
All right, Mark. Thank you, Blair. I really do appreciate it. Mark, what you got, brother?
Yeah, and this is probably where a lot of our opinions diverge. Is I went to an evangelical Christian high school, and I think it had I actually felt like a negative impact on my life. I think when you tell adolescent children that the reason they feel awkward and terrible about themselves, that it's because they have a void in their life, because they're missing Jesus Christ. It's because you're a fucking teenager and your hormones are off the charts and you feel fucking, it's going to last till you're about 35, like buckle in, and I lucked out. My best friend growing up was the slutty chick in high school, And I remember when I lost my virginity at like 17, like I felt terrible about myself because I put so much stock in what I was being brought up with that. And she pulled me out of that, you know, like, and really was just like, you know, no one can really tell you, you know, your worth, you know, based on some arbitrary measurement and stuff like that, you know, because I felt like I was a ruined person, you know, coming in there. I think there's a lot of stigma with that. You know, you talked about men carrying what's in a chick's past, you know, like I certainly didn't, you know, for the time that me and her were dating, I didn't give a shit who was in her past. It was a good time, you know,
Right.
you know, and she was much more of a human being other than what her sexual history was, you know, you know, I think there's some things that where I see people who we're all trying to live a new era with the rule set that was put in place by, you know,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
and there's always going to be some disconnect there. You know, and I'll leave it at this, you know, I had a conversation, you know, with my dad, because, you know, me and him, obviously, generations don't see eye to eye. And I said, you know, hey, Dad, you got to understand. I totally get it. My kids are going to come home from college one day and be like, you don't understand the world, Dad. You just don't get it. You know, and I'm going to roll my eyes at them. You know, that's the role I'm going to play at that point. And I'm like, it's your fucking, your dad, you know, and that's just the fucking place we're at. So, you know, I try and keep that in perspective when I look at generational shifts and people telling, you know, where we are as a society, and are we on the left?
Do you think that is a generational shift, though? Because it doesn't feel like a generational shift. We're talking about something that happened like within a couple of years. You know, it doesn't feel like, you know, something that would be a part of a generational factor. At least it doesn't feel that way to me. You know, like I understand your point, and I'm the same way, Mark. I really do, and I'm trying so hard, guys. And trust me, technology is just, I hate tech, dude. I hate it. It's so confusing to me. But I don't know, Mark. I hear what you're saying, dude, but I mean, from the stats that I've seen, it's almost as if like it's malicious. Does that sound wrong to say that it sounds, if it's like something that is malicious, like it's like there's a war going on that it's almost like we can't see it? Because it kind of feels that way sometimes.
You know, and it's probably the hippie Buddhist in me that everything is impermanent and everything is dependent. You know, when you take a look at anything in the world, right? Where does bad stop and good begin? You know, we probably have fundamental like worldview differences on that. You know, especially you know, you come from a Jewish Christian background. You have a lot more comfortability with absolutes than I do. Like, you know, Taoists read going down the river,
right?
Practical okayness. Shit. You know, I probably, if I talk to you too long, you're gonna punch me in the face. Like, fucking say something for certain, man.
No, man, I'm cool. I like it. You remind me of a guy I went to school with. You know, you and him have a lot of things in common. That's why I'm enjoying the conversation so much. It's cool. All right, so Mark, is that good, man? Can we let Steven go?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
all right, Steven's up to you, of course, Mark. Anytime.
Yeah, I think it is a generational thing, and I do think that it's not that it's happening quicker. The reason why it's happening quicker is because of a misconception about generation, and I may actually be saying a misconception even by the people generating these figures of what generation is what generation, and that's that the tempo has changed. The last time something like this happened was right around the foundations of Christendom, and again sometime around the original European press being invented. And everything accelerated. As soon as people started to find out that there were stars out there and that people were using things called telescopes, or that they had been arrested for even suggesting that They had proof that, the universe was actually made out of these ball bearings called atoms and such. People reading for the first time, education happening in the street. Now imagine that happening on the galactic scale that it's happening on right now, where I'm talking to you as a cartoon drawing flipped from an anime series. That is the only face I am currently displaying. But you understand that this is a virtual presence of myself, and you trust me because of my words and because I'm on YouTube in the first place. This is the wacky environment where we're living, where everybody has a camera in their pocket and a recording device. This is the 24-hour news cycle in everybody's pocket, right?
Okay.
The world has accelerated beyond recognition. My nieces, who are quite literally early 20s and late teens, there may be a generation gap between them because of this acceleration process. Things are happening so fast that the TV shows that my 21-year-old niece, 22-year-old niece grew up on are considered not only passé, but problematic by children just a couple of years younger than my 17-year-old niece. I'm not even joking about that.
No, you're not.
That's a total reality.
On.
And it's all being driven by access. They are privatizing all of their information. They don't need no man, woman, government, narrative. They've got it all at their fingertips, and they're making up headcanon in nanoseconds on what's going on and changing their minds a few minutes later because of a new video they just watched. This is like a whole lifetime in a few years. I mean, I didn't learn about UFOs until I was like 10. I knew of them, but I didn't really start reading any books on the subjects. And those were handed to me as paperbacks, and I spent time reading them, as opposed to watching somebody quite literally abbreviate and crib note 16 UFO books and a whole history in the background with video and images. None of these things were available to me, and I barely knew anything about the subject. But a 10-year-old can quite literally learn about world conspiracy icebergs and watch it in 2 hours.
Right. Because information is life now. I mean, it basically is. I mean, it's like whatever you see online or whatever you see in a movie, because they have no real world experience. That's something I didn't talk about, but we have a bunch of guys, keyboard warriors, right?
So to answer your question, the reality is it is most definitely a social issue when it comes to gender and the fluidity of female prowess in the field has to do with all of these cameras. This is a world more secure than it has ever been, except in legendary tales.
Yeah.
Everybody has a damn camera, and some guy possibly even just down the block has the ability to scan your body for biomatter and check your health readings. You may even have such technology on your wrist to tell whether or not you're overdosing. I mean, that is a reality. Some app that you could download in a few seconds could scan your eyes and say whether or not you should actually go to the emergency room. That's the world we're living in right now. So why not have an adventure every 15 minutes? The world is pretty darn safe.
I mean, I guess everything's relative, but even Elon Musk said it on Joe Rogan once. He said that we're already cyborgs. And this right here is what makes us a cyborg.
That's right. And I would even suggest that we're living in a teleknowledgeable world right now. It's a precursor to being psychic, or this is what it would feel like to be psychic. Because online, you have the ability to block whole dialogues with people online. You can't do that in reality. But online, you can. So in a ghost in the shell kind of way, in a matrix kind of way, you can put up a psychic block against certain people or certain groups. As a matter of fact, the media landscape does this to us constantly by recommending certain videos that we know that it knows we'll like. So it's already scanning and eliminating things from our scope. And TikTok does this as part of the engine.
I know. I'm half scared and half excited for the day that my interlinked phone to my head says your blood sugar's low and you want tacos because it's been a while since you. Vincent's a block away. He also wants tacos, and Blair knows of a place that we've already met a reservation, and Uber is called, to transport you. And I'll be like, oh my God, don't even have to make any decisions anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will get to that, but it's going to require some sort of like benevolent takeover. And I think, and I mean this quite seriously, all of the conspiracies that are out there, all of them, and I mean all of them, eventually lead to a utopian society or a alleged dystopian society because they don't like it. But the reality will be something of a hyper existence of what we're already experiencing. And all they ask of us is to just survive, be normal, be good to each other, and do these certain things, like a 10 Commandments. Own a phone, be on the internet, allow your personality to be identified completely. Please wear bio equipment like we do with our astronauts now on your wrist. Have your headset on. Have a visor in place because now we can feed you all the advertisement in the neighborhood. You won't even have to open up your phone. And for 10 years, this is for free by government regulation. Like that kind of world where where every single food cart is in the city because you got this damn visor on and you got a subscription to City Eats,
Okay, and I get that, but does that mean that I'm the weirdo because I don't want that? I have no desire to want that whatsoever.
You're the natural effect of resistance. And resistance is the braking mechanism that allows us to slow down just long enough to hesitate before disaster strikes. So you're part of a natural element. Never forget, and I agree with you, Matt. I'm a Buddhist Christian. I was born and raised Catholic. I was, baptized and confirmed and all that jazz. But as soon as I started reading Buddhist scriptures and such, and Buddhist literature and attached literature on the subject, I was like, this is what Christ was talking about. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Fight me on that hill. This is exactly what he was talking about. It's like, stop thinking about it. Everything's going to be okay. It's all cyclical. Be at peace. Be good to each other, and everything will turn out just fine. You know what I mean? Like,
and eat
accept
tacos.
that nirvana is inevitable.
Okay, but the difference is this time, though. This time, instead of it happening that way, we're not being nice to each other. We're not literally creating a division in our society that hasn't been recognized since like the Civil War. Okay.
Yeah. But I think this is going to be whatever this is going to be. It's going to be probably the most bloodless thing that humanity has ever seen.
It's going to be a different kind of civil war. I do agree with you on that. I don't think we're going to see pitchforks and freaking burning down houses and brothers and sisters killing. I think the cancelization of people is our tactic this time. I believe that what we're doing on social media, blocking you. There was a really weird Black Mirror show or whatever where they
Black Mirror was a prophecy. We're going to see that. We're going to know it for a fact in 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, where like they blocked out a person in all white if they were like outed from society or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it went, but yeah. So
and another guy that was he couldn't see anybody, right? Because he was finally accused of the crime and he lost his visibility privileges.
Yeah. So he
wasn't allowed to see anybody.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to see anybody. So, all right. Thank you so much, Stephen. That was actually really cool, man. Thank you. I've got a lot to think about, apparently. All right, Skinny, don't forget to show that comic book, but you're up, bro. Yeah.
Well, as far as the original stats you were talking about, I think women just feel safer admitting how many guys they've actually slept with now. I think in the past, they were still pretty promiscuous. They just didn't talk about it a lot. That's frowned upon. It got them in a lot of fucking trouble. So they didn't.
Witch trials and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would say, maybe it's more now, but that's the equivalent of the gaps feeling. All the gaps are filling in our lives. What's the separation between my life in real life and the internet? There's literally very little. People I don't even know 3,000 miles away know what I'm doing, how many times I've pooped in a day, and those
Hopefully
gaps
not.
are filling in. There's less and less privacy every day, and that's the one fucked up thing is like the death of privacy. That's what we're coming up on, man. I
See,
don't know
yeah,
if you
that's
guys
what,
realize it.
yeah,
It's
I
kind of
know, but it is.
spooky, but I think a lot of us have a hatred towards it, and I'm not. I think we're just scared of the unknown.
Yep.
But I'm that weirdo who, you tell them, you're like, hey, man, you want to live in this basement and rent out this room for a while? We got ghosts. I'm like, fuck yeah. Do I pay more for the ghosts? Like, I will. I want to see the ghosts. I want that unknown. But a lot of people aren't like me. A lot of people don't like that shit. A lot of people run the other fucking way. A lot of people are calling in a priest.
Yeah, like that. That's why I brought up the
And
earlier periods of this. In Rome, there was a period of gigantic freedom, and 100 years later, there was absolutely not. Just the opposite, in fact. They were quite literally burning homosexuals at the stake before they started up on the witches. It's like that was a reality.
yeah, and well, I mean, like, I'm gonna just quote Warhammer and say, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. And that's what our species is really built for, is just destroying each other. I know I want to be peace and love, I really do, but let's be honest, we love destroying shit. The vast majority of humans love destroying everything.
Nothing, I mean, since the beginning of time, nothing has killed man more than man.
Yep.
So, but let me see that comic book. Here, let me get this bastard up here. Look at this badass thing, dude.
This is the Illustrator Monk.
That's so
Wow.
Dude, Mark, isn't that just badass, dude? Look at that thing, man.
This is actually an aluminum printed metal cover that they actually glue it on the front of the book. This is just a proof. So I submitted like unlettered, but it's legit the whole comic book with the metal cover. It doesn't have a metal backing. If you are interested, it's just Ready Comics. I'll let them put in an ad. If you let them do that, they'll take some money off. I did that, and I kind of smirked a little bit because I'm like, it's proof. I'm not going to sell it anyways. Haha. But yeah, it's just Ready Comics. They're really good. They're the ones who did my metal trading cards too, and then I got this one from Kablam a while back.
Nice.
Kablam's really cool, but their online site kind of sucks dick. Yeah. But this is actually my first issue. I haven't reprinted this one. I'm actually saving this for the first print of our Volume 1 trade containing issues 1 through 3. It should be, I think, like 110 pages. But yeah, I got my book about a redneck who gets brought back to life, and he fights cults and wendigos, and he drinks, and yeah, a lot of cool shit happens, man.
Skinny, I've been meaning to ask, are you Bristol and ink, or are you all virtual, like photoshopping and all computer, all digital? Your book, I mean, what is the artwork, live or digital? Or combination?
It's actually a combination. I'm not doing the art. I'm just a dumbass writer who's retarded. Though I do draw every issue because I'm a weird writer. Instead of writing a script, I draw out the entire book and I just send that to my artist because he's a visual guy. So I'm going to send him something to speak to him visually.
Adding another layer of inking to the process. I like it. So there's two people tracing, right? The penciler and
well, I'm not even penciling. Like the doodles I don't have my notebook next to me, but I have like a notebook and they're terrible, man. They're like stick figures. Sometimes I have to like put in a note. This is actually a hand.
My initial storyboards for the book I kicked around in high school. It was nothing more than that either. My initial storyboards, they would just, and if I didn't have those, I wouldn't even know what the heck to do next. And it was just ripping them out at that quality level. It's important.
Our process is he takes my sketch page as just, hey, that's what I want. So he just looks at that and then he'll sketch it out on actual parchment paper. And then, and then he'll go back and ink it in with a Sharpie. But after that, he actually scans it in and brings it into, I think, Clip Studio.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is what I use for lettering too. And then he does all the touch-ups and adds in backgrounds, because I notice a lot of artists, especially these days, as compared to in recent times, they're wasting a lot of time on pointless backgrounds in every little panel. Like, I don't remember seeing all of that in like the comics I was growing up. Like, sometimes they would just go to like a gray background for when they're talking and just bullshitting around once the scene's established.
Yeah, I've seen whole naked pages with just 2 characters and dialogue.
Like, this would be a good one. He added in these line effects here digitally.
Oh, right. So he's doing all the zip toning that they would say back in the day, and texture and
I'm not
tone
sure
for
what
the
they
back of
would say. I smoke way too much weed to understand that stuff.
Well, back in the day, you could buy certain effects like that, but they were on a big sheet and you rubbed it onto the board and cut it out with a zip knife.
Damn. That's old school shit right
I
there.
know.
Dude.
So if you
back
look at
in the
that old
day-
school manga in the 80s, it was all done physically. All the screening that they do for backgrounds nowadays, it was all done physically with what they called zip tones. And there were whole sheets of lamination you'd rub on like color forms or something like that.
That's cool
that makes
fuck,
sense
man.
too, because I know lettering, the reason why lettering in comic books, and it's hard to mimic how they looked in the comic books, was actually because they would just tape those little fucking balloons on the page when they were doing
after
the lettering.
The fact. Yep.
Yeah. And that kind of gave them some depth and stuff, and it's really hard to mimic too. I'm kind
That's
of
another
pissed
thing
off. I'm like,
too.
why did y'all do that?
Well, you've got to do
my
what
job
you do is
harder.
you do exactly what they did, and that was when you print out, make sure that there's a couple of layers in between so that there's actually some shadow in your final product. Do exactly what they did. Tape a separate layer of dialogue, including bubbles, on top of the page, and do a drop shadow, really subtle, but like just anything. Maybe even just dust the edge,
Guys,
as if an edge is out of focus because
Steven,
it's sticking up into
I'm sorry
camera.
for cutting you off, bro. We got to wrap this up soon because Blair just dropped in the chat. He's got to go soon. But Mark, you look like Mark has looked like a kid in a candy store for the last couple of minutes. Like he's got something he wants to say. So okay.
Lettering and because lettering makes or breaks a comic.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
totally
loving everything you Skinny and Steven are talking about.
Steven, that was some really cool shit, man. You're like talking about stuff I've never even heard of before, dude. That was like awesome.
We did everything in camera, and I'm old school art. I did old school stuff. I did physical illustration and camera work for the Yellow Pages back in the early 90s.
Oh, wow.
That's what I actually did that for a while. So
all right.
I would produce 300% artwork, and they would shoot it down, and it would have to get approved for scale. And if it bled through, and I took old photographs and brought them to line art, clip art style, done in real time, physically on the page. So, I mean, I know a bit about the physical arts of all of this, and it's great to pass it on because I believe in the digital arts. It's just we're missing these effects. There's a background thing for the show WALL-E, and a camera technique that they used to make the whole thing feel more grounded was that they used camera lenses the same way they used them back in the 1970s. And that's why you have out of focus shots and ill framed shots, and it kind of grounds it because we expect those things in an image. And digital's just too clean.
Yeah. It doesn't have that kind of water effect or whatever it's called. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to try something really cool here. If I fuck this up, I apologize. I'm gonna do an exit out, and then we'll say our byes. This is something I had LA Warriors make. So let's see here. There we go, and I'm gonna share it. This is cool. Guys, tell me if you like this or not. This is gonna be my future intro and my exit. All right. That's it.
Nice.
What was that? What'd you guys think about that? That's like a work in progress for me.
You had me.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope, man.
Really? I mean, because I thought I was like, man, it looks cool to me, but sometimes when I think things look cool to me, they look really stupid to everybody else.
Hey, it's a lot better than like my little intro, man. I just show some like 70s plaid like kaleidoscope shit and play some generic 70s
Hey,
sounding
dude.
music and
Hey,
yeah.
man, like that sounds cool. Like, I don't know. A lot of this stuff for me, man, is just me just basically throwing shit out there and fucking hoping that it sticks, you know? Like the video that I made today, man, I was really hoping it would get more of an attraction, but I you know, because I'm trying to figure out the algorithm. I'm trying to figure out because I believe in patterns. I believe everything has a pattern. And the video that I made today, the one that's entitled, don't give in to the weak emotions, that was really important to me. And I was like, man, I was expecting to get more of a feedback on it, and most people haven't even commented on it. And I think I sent it to like 25 people. So, but regardless, gentlemen, thank you. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I cannot thank you so much. Steven, you were a surprise guest. Skinny, I'm so glad that you were here, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this every Friday. Mark obviously was a special guest. Mark, you obviously don't have to be every Friday if you want to, but you are always welcome, man. Blair, thanks for everything that you do, brother. Go ahead and give your guys your spots real quick, and then we'll check out of here. Blair, then Mark, then Steven, then Skinny. Sorry.
You can catch me on Twitter at Blair to Blair, and I'm usually around YouTube channels. I'm on Thursday with Steven with Roman of the Empire. We do a show.
That's right.
So
That's right. New member, actually. New member of the staff. So to
Yeah,
speak.
dude. I like it.
Right.
Mark?
Most of my stuff's on Instagram at lesserknowncomics.com or lesserknowncomics. Website is lesserknowncomics.com, and on Twitter at lesserkcomics. That was the best I could do. So
That's good, man. That's good.
I bought your comics,
Nice.
Mark.
what was that?
I bought your comic tonight while we were on the show.
Thanks, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
It looks
nice.
so cool. Look, it looks so fucking.
Yeah, I like looking at that, man. I was like, oh shit.
Samurai and witches, dude. It's gonna be fucking.
I missed
epic,
your
dude.
discussion on it, and I feel bad about that. But I was like sitting here looking at it while y'all were raging about the DC stuff for a minute. I was like, I want to check out this stuff over here.
Vince is stressing me out. He said this is the first comic he's bought in like 5 years. I'm like, fuck.
5? You mean more like 10, bro? Like, the last series I bought and read was Invincible. That was the last one I bought and read, dude. So, Steven, give us your deets, bro.
Well, first of all, everybody on the panel, I mean, I know I already follow Blair to Blair. Vincent, I don't know if I know you on Twitter. Are you on Twitter? Same for the rest of the panel. I'm at my name right here, or Bleffin Ransom, BLEPHEN, on Twitter. And I'm always telegraphing what I'm doing, and I'm also into a lot of stuff. I've kind of backed off some of my chit chat back and forth into some of the reality going on, because it's like preaching to the choir, it's who cares? But in about half an hour, I'm going to be heading over to Wakazashi's Tea House. He's doing a review of Lady Hawk. I don't know if there's going to be anybody joining him afterwards, but that's where I'm going in about, in a half an hour or so. And then Saturday, I've got, I'm on PJ Maybe's channel, part of Let's Talk Geeky. And it's a panel of guys just chit-chatting about, whatever's on the menu kind of stuff, pop culture, geekdom, nerddom, that whole thing.
I like it.
And then afterwards, in about 20 hours, I'm on Potato Revan. This Irish guy I know, he's doing a discussion, usually about 3, 4, 5 guys on the panel. And we're going to be talking V for Vendetta, comic book and movie. Because remember the 5th of November.
Yeah.
It's one of the few comic book movies I actually like.
Hey, if you don't mind, man, send me the link to that when you're on it, and I'll at least, if they don't want me on the panel, I'll at least be in the chat though, because I'm a huge fan of that, and I want to talk to the guy Revan because I have a theory just by hearing his name. So,
I swear to God, if you say you're related to him, dude, He thinks he's related to everybody, every Irish
No.
person or near Irish or adjacent Irish person. He's
No.
like, oh, you're not part of my
Revan.
bloodline, so fuck off.
He,
Yeah.
he can only get the name Revan from one thing, and I'm gonna blow his brain if I'm correct.
Well, if you're
Nancy-
going to go for Sith Lord or some sort of Scythian Star Wars universe type of thing, then you're
Mhm.
right on the money, my brother.
Yeah.
Right on the
and
money.
and I've got shit that he's probably never said. I'm telling you guys, I'm a huge fucking geek. I'm the Marine infantryman that is a massively huge geek. Okay,
So,
I am
DM
the
me
weirdest
on
motherfucker
Twitter.
in the world. No,
DM me on Twitter, and I'll guarantee you. Just DM me, so that we have got an open letter, and I'll drop it right in there as soon as I get the chance, man.
Anybody want to tell him, or you want me to tell him? I'll break it to him softly.
He doesn't have Twitter.
I have no social media, nor will I ever have it.
None.
So what? So what I'll do is go over here to the private chat.
Don't phone anymore. I was like,
Go over to the private chat. I'm gonna put in my email. Okay.
I'm gonna share the stream. I'm gonna share the YouTube channel, and I'm just gonna drop it right in the private chat. I still marvel that I can even do this. I go.
And while they're doing that, Skinny,
I copy it
from
my iPad, and in real time, I'm able to.
What happened?
What?
he actually kicked himself.
He got rid of himself. Holy shit.
And Super Spur just finished a big ass salad, so I gotta give you some congratulations. You went for the big salad and you ate the whole thing, man.
Oh yeah, man. You go for
Kudos.
it, bro. All right, Skinny, do your piece, bro. Let's do this.
Oh
shit.
yeah, I'm Skinny. I write comics. I say things that piss a lot of people off. I'm a free speech absolutist, but I make comic books and I love people and I love animals. You can find me at Skinny's Comics on Twitter and on YouTube, Skinny's Comics. And that's it.
That's
Nice.
it.
Cool.
Steven,
I'm on other ones, but I don't keep up with my other ones. I know I have an Instagram, but I kind of ignore it.
That's awesome, dude. Steven, I don't know what you did, bro, but that was funny.
Dude. Okay, I'm gonna say this live on TV because I am so sick and tired. It makes me so angry. Touchscreen technology will never be military grade. And if it ever is, we're all doomed.
Yeah, we're all fucked if it comes. If it becomes good, man, we're screwed.
All I did was try to send the goddamn private chat, and the whole friggin' thing just fell off my screen, and I was suddenly off the stream. It was
well,
there's no way the enterprise computers could ever work with touchscreen.
Never.
There's
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah, because we would actually send a photon torpedo at the wrong planet.
There's no way they could be that accurate.
Right. I already went to his channel. I already subscribed. So what I'll do is in 20 hours I'll look for it. But guys, it has been an amazing night. Thank you so much, Blair. Man, dude, thank you guys. Skinny, Steven.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Of course, man. Always.
Hey, Mark,
do well. Yeah,
dude, we got to talk, man. We got to chat. We got some things to say to each other, I think, man. So
who you talking to, Mark?
If you're on Twitter, Mark, you better DM me or something, man. We got to chat. I got to know where you're chatting, and I want to chat with you more. So we got things to talk about.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Peace out. Whoop, whoop.
Have a better one.